What is up, everybody? Happy Saturday. Shabbat Shalom. Daddy's home. My phone's in the drone. Ready to go. Let's do it. Obviously, you've seen the new, I don't know what you call it, like opener. Hopefully, you guys like that. My brother-in-law, shout out to him. I don't know if he wants to be named yet. Is now a part of the team. Super gifted editor. And he's been working behind the scenes to make this channel even better than it already is. So thank you to him for making that little opener. It's also just like a placeholder. I may not keep it as like what I did right there as the intro. But I at least wanted to show it to you guys. StreamYard doesn't let me do it as a placeholder like it did on Rumble. So the Rumbleites or the Rumblers, they got to see it in the as a placeholder, as we were getting ready for the show. But I just wanted to treat you guys to that. All right. Yes, girls, love you. All right, my daughters. All right, you guys. Welcome to another episode of the Black Line Brief. I'm your host, Matthew McKim, and I have a really good show for you today. As you guys come in, please do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I promise you, you will get what you deserve. You'll get what you want. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like I was going to say you'll get your money's worth, but it's not. You're not. You're just clicking a button. Yeah. You'll get your clicks worth. There you go. You'll get your finger energy clicking worth. All right. So, let's see. I already said that. Okay, there we go. Let's go over what we're going to look at today. So Candace Owens has been out for the last week. We knew that. It seems she just did a post. I thought she was going to be out for a whole nother week. Seems like she's coming back Monday, day after mañana. Thank goodness, because to use Megyn Kelly's word when she was describing Judge Graff, these feckless little men that I will name every single one of them as we go on tonight. They have not wasted any time attacking her all week. And some of them, like Ben Shapiro and his little white horse or his little midget horse, and Jeremy Boring, the guy that either doesn't know he's gay or just refuses to admit it to the world. And some others, Glenn Beck. I mean, the cast of merry pranksters and morons have been out in force all week and all out attack on Candace. And Brandon Tatum was like, why not? I'm feeling pretty spicy. I'll attack Tucker Carlson too. So we're gonna go over some things. We're gonna rehash a couple things from yesterday, but it's gonna be jam packed, and I am ready to roll. Let's do this. All right, you guys. Christ is king. Yes, he is. Every minute of every day. All right, we're going to start with this moron. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you guys know. So like months and months ago, Andrew Wilson agreed to debate me. And then, other people reposted it too. And I was like, dude, are we going to debate? Are we going to? And he just ignores me. So not a man of his word, not a man of integrity, not a man. A man is only as good as his word. And if you can't hold up your agreements, then you're nothing, bro. You're nothing. That just means you talk out of the side of your mouth and your words mean nothing. They have no weight behind them because there's no actual action to back them up. So let's see if Brandon Tatum is a little bit bigger of a man. He calls out Candace. So we finally hear that go down. He calls Tucker a B. He doesn't say the word. He just says B. But let's see if Brandon ever accepts the challenge. Well, he offered. He was like, I will debate anyone, anywhere that doesn't believe that Tyler Robinson is the lone gunman. And I was like, bet. Challenge accepted. Called him out, tagged him a bunch of times. No response. I don't know. He's so important. Maybe his busy schedule just will not permit. All right, let's get into it. Let's do it. Love you guys.
Is that way. I'm going to call Candace, especially after this trial. I gotta talk to her because.
Oh wait, I forgot to back this one up. right there.
Much for the super chat. Candace Owens openly offered to assist and provide information to Tyler's defense team. She openly accused Erica of being involved. Do you condemn her? I do condemn what she said.
Ooh.
I condemn what she said. I love Candace. Like I always say, I just don't understand why her direction on this is that way. I'm going to call Candace, especially after this trial. I gotta talk to her because, you know,
I mean, the preliminary hearing, Mr. Officer Tater Tot, with all of your years of experience. I don't know. Did you misspeak or did you forget what it was? It was a preliminary hearing. But you're going to call her? You're going to call her. Okay. I can't. Can you record it, or can you tell Candace to record it so we can all see it too? Definitely would like to hear her point out how spineless you are. You know, you tried to say that. Who did he? I think he said Tucker has no cojones. Look, you were in the court all week. All right, for this preliminary hearing, Mr. Tater Tot, tot. You came out every day and lied, just blatantly lied to every. How does this guy have 3.8 million freaking subscribers on YouTube? Where are these, like him and Ben Shapiro, come out and lie all week that, like, oh, if you guys were only inside the court, you could have seen all the evidence. There was so much. It's a mountain. It's so big I cannot climb. We all saw what you saw, you freaking idiot. The only difference was you were up close and personal for the horrible quality videos. We were just from our comfortable old living room, you know, or wherever we were streaming from. We all saw the same thing. There was only one piece of evidence that we didn't get to see. But thank God, like literally thank you, God, that there was some people in there that aren't completely bought out by, you know, this administration, TPUSA, that they came out and were like, it didn't show that. No. It didn't show that. It's not enhanced. It's not 4K. You don't see recoil. You don't see muzzle flash. You don't hear anything. You don't see anything. And in fact, I proved that yesterday when I played Jack Posobiec and Andrew Kant, but Blake and Neff, where they were like doubling down, tripling down. And then at the end, they ask Jack, they're like, so can you tell us exactly what you did see? In fact, yesterday I interrupted. Let's take a quick trip down memory lane. And I got it already pulled up. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's remember yesterday.
Again, my thoughts instantly go to Erica and Kathy and Rob having to see the very moment that Charlie's life was robbed from him. You said, just to be clear, you said that in this enhanced video, you can see him taking the shot. In the prone position, you see him taking the shot. And I asked just because I'm sure there's going to be questions about it. Was there any explanation of how the video was enhanced?
It's just a simple zoom in. It's not anything other than that. It's just literally just zoomed in. It's like, you know how when he first when we didn't know who Tyler Robinson was, and they put out that first video of him dropping off the awning, I guess, of the Losi building. Yeah. It's just that it's like the 5 minutes or so prior to that. So it looks pretty similar to that in terms of quality. It's just that same, it's just a zoom in process. There's no, it doesn't look like there's any AI upscaling or any of that stuff. It literally just looks like a zoom in on. So they took that wide screen because, of course,
Jack, shut up. Not the answered. Read the room. He wanted you to lie. He wanted you to say what freaking Benny Johnson said. 4K. Come on. That's why you drive that little man car that you have, that red freaking sports car that you're overcompensating for your little man Napoleon syndrome. Why couldn't you just lie, Jack? He had to shut you up. You were blinking like you were a hostage. So can you just explain how it does show him take the shot? No, it's just zoomed in. Yeah, we know. Yeah, we know, Jack. So straight from the horse's mouth. Maybe that's the midget horse that Ben Shapiro rides. Maybe it's Jack. We know, I mean, we knew anyway, because we're not stupid. We saw the video. We just saw it at a distance. You can't zoom into a video and magically make it 4K. You can't magically make it have more pixels for higher definition. That doesn't work like that. All you do is get closer to an already junky video. So it just made it more clear that it's just like a freaking blurry black blob of a person, like a Sasquatch video. But anyway, so we remember that's them yesterday. All right. So let's go back to Brandon Tatum. He likewise said a very similar thing yesterday where he was like, you see it. It's so clear. And then he goes, but let me be clear. You don't actually see the shot. You just see the dude climb the railing, run, low crawl, lay down, prone, pause. And then you see the timestamp and it gets to 12:23:29. And that's when you know the shot happened. And then the dude gets up and run and jumps off. That's all the video shows, ladies and gentlemen. So why are they all out here lying? Liars. Let's go back to Tater Tot.
We have a relationship. We have a friendship. And I don't want to see my friend just go out, fall off a cliff over this, because I don't know if she's just getting bad information or what. Like, Erica Kirk is not involved.
Okay.
What was the other?
I remember why I went off on a tangent. He's attacking her, right, for, lying or things she's saying, when literally this dude was caught in literal 4K, because everything they film, it's like in high quality. He's been caught in 4K all week, pushing Fed slop, BS, narrative, propaganda, psyop, lies, disinformation, total not true. And he has the audacity to attack Tucker and Candace. Dude, come on.
That the questioner said? It was something else that she said that Candace had said. Oh, offer to assist the defense. Now, in La La Land, and it's just me being honest.
Oh.
And if Candace is watching this, I love you, Candace, but like, we got to keep it real. In La La Land, helping the defense makes sense. But in reality, helping the defense is helping Charlie Kirk Killer get off.
Hey, moron. You're the one that likes to say, I know. It's just this inconvenient reality about our legal system that people are innocent until proven guilty. You just get the impression that everyone at TPUSA would love to somehow do away with this whole innocent until proven guilty obstacle that they keep running into. They keep saying like, yeah, I know. Innocent until proven guilty. Yeah. Presumption of innocence. Bro, nobody's proved anything yet. Nobody's convicted of anything. You've seen what we've seen, and what we've seen actually moved us further away from doubt. There is no just reasonable doubt. There's just full on, complete 100% doubt that Tyler Robinson is in any of those videos. None. Maybe they should call the Dairy Queen down the street and ask whoever did their surveillance systems to do UVU. You got like freaking 4K of him. He's just like got his chicken nuggets and he's this blizzard and he's just like, you totally could tell it's him. I mean, it kind of looks a different guy. I don't know. Maybe there's like 5 different Tyler Robinsons that they threw out there for us all to see on that day. But I mean, it looks more like him than any of the freaking Sasquatch videos that they've showed us. So for him to be there, like, to not help convict this man, before he's been convicted to not jump on the bandwagon of TPUSA and the widow. You must support the widow. It's just crazy. Because I could make an even stronger argument that none of you love Charlie. Yep. Jack, Andrew, Blake, Mikey, Erica, Brandon, Benny Johnson, all of you. Because if Tyler didn't do it, Charlie would not want you to do any of this. Charlie used his brain to think. And it's like once he died, all of your brains were gone because you guys never thought. You guys never had an original, individual, intelligent thought of your own. You just rode Charlie's intelligence and all of his amazing thoughts. Now he's gone. There's no captain to steer the ship with all you idiots anymore. You're just all running around thinking you're running a show, and none of you are. Because Charlie would want the person who actually killed him to be on trial and not someone else. And none of us know for a fact at all who killed Charlie right now. And the fact that all of you act like you know for a fact when we've seen what you've seen, and what we've seen is nothing. Goose eggs. Points nowhere. More doubt, more doubt, more doubt. You're evil. At least Candace is trying to find out what happened. Has she made mistakes? Yep. But you know what? Back in September, there wasn't all the information that there is out right now. And along the way, she's course corrected every time and admitted when she has and corrected her own record. So, and then he's going to go on to attack Tucker in a little bit. Maybe not on this video, but I got another one pulled up. I got to say, I'm less pleased with Tucker's response, but at least he has raised reasonable questions as to who actually did kill Charlie. He hasn't rushed to judgment and said, I accept this. I accept this whole lone gunman thing. He's the one that did the deep dive in Butler. He's not going to rush to judgment when the next stupid thing is passed off like this. Lone gunman. No. But Brandon Tatum is going to have us all believe that Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson are not, were not, will never be Charlie's friend unless they support the widow and help to convict in the court of public opinion before his day in court, Tyler Robinson for the murder of Charlie Kirk.
Like, I don't know if the intentions are there, but I don't get it. The boy killed Charlie Kirk. No matter what you think, he killed Charlie Kirk. And helping the defense team is trying to help the killer of Charlie Kirk, our friend, go free. And just
this is what's crazy. He is on staff for TPUSA. Okay. So is Graham Allen. Okay. They all are. Jack Posobiec, all of them. So when the defense said, and he called out Erica Kirk, he should have included all of these little minions that they've all been out there tainting the jury pool. He just said it's a fact that Tyler killed Charlie Kirk. It's a foregone conclusion. He knows beyond any doubt. And he claims to have seen more of the evidence than any of us, which is only partially true because he only saw a zoomed in video that we already saw. But for him to be so confident, so sure of himself that Tyler Robinson did anything that day that led to the death of Charlie Kirk should lead you all to the conclusion that they're all evil people that should never be trusted. And they're doing it all on the behest of Erica, TPUSA. And it's not about truth. It's not about justice for Charlie. because they had already made this decision by day 11 when Erica said, I forgive him. Everyone else jumped in line the moment she did that. All of them. They've been rushing since then to convict and put this young man to death before any prelim, before any hearing, any briefings, any trial. And that should give us all caution as to what is the spirit of the people that are doing this. Are they led by the Holy Spirit, or are they led by, I don't know, the devil's spirit? Something completely opposite of the Holy Spirit? I think so. Let me get to this real quick. All right. J.P. Hanks. Okay. Gary from Paramount Tactical has a 3D model of campus that shows LOS. What is that? What's LOS? From Computer Science Building. Line of sight. Yeah, it shows line of sight from Computer Science Building. Tater needs to repent. Mama, gonna wash his mouth. Yeah. Also, I think the Computer Science Building, ladies and gentlemen, is where they found that 223 round. Okay. Maybe a little later, I'll pull up the actual Google Earth of the campus and we can look at it. But I think I remember now for sure, because I was like, well, what was it? Was it the Sorensen, or which building was it where they found that unfired live round on the ground? It's a 223 round, smaller caliber, something in like an AR, M16, 223 5.56, not a 30-06. And they explained it away that like a police officer that had his rifle in the ready position, which means, fully loaded, cocked and loaded, one in the chamber all the way forward. And then he had to put his weapon back on safe, right? And so they have to discharge the one in the chamber. It spits it out. They didn't pick it up, supposedly. They didn't ask the officer to find out whose it was. They didn't keep that piece of that bullet in evidence. They didn't DNA test it. They didn't fingerprint it. They have no clue where it is. It's gone. It's far gone. It's gone. It's out of here. Oh, my goodness. All right, let's continue with Tater Tot.
Just not be served for Charlie Kirk. And I'll say this, everybody that's watching, why hasn't the defense used any information from Candace Owens and others? Because it's not real. I'm not trying to be mean or nothing. It's just not real. There's no material evidence to be had.
Okay, then that makes no sense, bro. Okay, then if she's your friend, right, like as close as you say you are with her, it's either two things. You're saying she is so evil and corrupt, she knows that she's making all this up, and she's doing it completely for like nefarious and for personal gain and just to make money and just to try to destroy TPUSA and Erica Kirk. Or what? She's so dumb that she's doing this and doesn't realize it. That's what you're saying. The other can't be true, that she be smart and ethical and still be doing all this and be wrong. So what are you actually saying about her? And I saw one I wanted to mention. I saw where to go. Yeah, this one. Yeah, Valhalla said officers ejecting rounds like that is not a thing. It's not a thing. In fact, when you're like on the range, so I was in the Marine Corps, keeping track of your ammo is very important. Okay, every single round is accounted for. You can't have a live round unaccounted for. Sometimes things happen, but on the most part, like you even do like a brass, like assembly line, and you walk the whole distance of the outdoor, shooting range, and you're picking up all the empty shell casings. You're putting them in your pockets. Brass. You're picking up all your brass. You don't leave any empty or unfired rounds behind, ever. Keeping track of your bullets is very, very important. Okay. And a cop that had his weapon fully loaded, one in the chamber, and then he goes, oh, I need to put it in safe, and he ejects that round. Guess what he's going to know just happened? He's going to know it ejected, and he's going to pick it up and put it in his pocket. He's not going to eject it and go, bye, and leave it there. It's not a thing. It's not a thing at all. I mean, there are stupid cops, but there's also very corrupt ones.
If there was somehow a third-party person that somehow has done an investigation outside of evidence, because no one has access to forensic evidence other than the forensic investigators.
So, let's talk about this forensic investigation, do we? Let's talk about it.
Yesterday, somebody gave me a super chat and told me to look up Baron Coleman, his video from yesterday at the 2 hour mark in 14 minutes. So the 2 hour and 14 minute mark. Let's take a look. We're going to listen to the one expert witness that the defense called. Well, one of. They called two, but this one, right, is going to be talking about the ballistics. Okay. And what she says is, and I can even pull up my chat because I Googled it too, and then I threw it into my chat just to make sure. Double checked. Two different AIs came up with the same conclusion about the diameter. Okay. The diameter of the 30-06 round. Okay. And there's a range, but it can't be less than, and it cannot be greater than that range. It has to be within. Oh, sorry. When they did their analysis, okay, of the round that they supposedly retrieved from Charlie's neck, they found it within a range. This range, the low end, so it can't be on that end outside of the range, and then on the high end. So it's got to be within this range, okay? Where the actual diameter of a 30-06 round is, guess where it is? Way out here. It's not even a 30-06 caliber round. Don't believe me? Baron's gonna let you know.
Because they're telling us it's a 30-06, that the diameter of this fragment is 0.308 inches.
Nope.
That's what you would hope to see if it's a 30-06. Pray tell, Madam Expert. What was...
Okay, we're going to listen to her, but yeah, just so you know, and I can show it to you guys right here. Please don't mess up my stream. Okay, so 30-06 round diameter. And then this is what I pulled from the AI in Google. All right. The bullet for a 30-06 spring-filled round has a standard diameter of 0.308 inches, 7.82 millimeters. If you're looking for the diameter of the cartridge case itself, but we're not, we're talking about the jacket, the thing that gets fired out of the casing, because that's the only thing that got retrieved, supposedly, from Charlie's neck. The casing is the empty thing left inside of the rifle because it's a bolt action. It didn't eject it. Okay. So the bullet diameter, 0.38 inches. Okay. This is where the .30 designation comes from. 30-06. Okay. So it's 0.308. Let's hear what she said the diameter was of the bullet retrieved from Charlie Kirk's neck, supposedly.
The diameter
to see if there was individual characteristics in the land and groove impressions sufficient enough of marks and values to do a comparison process.
Now, once you have the class characteristics of a bullet, can you narrow the range of firearms that could have fired it just based on class characteristics?
You can, yes.
And is caliber a class characteristic or an individual or a subclass characteristic?
It's going to be a class characteristic because a lot of firearms will have the same class, or excuse me, the same caliber.
Did you measure the diameter of the bullet?
Listen carefully. Did you measure the diameter of the bullet?
I did, yes.
And did you end up with a range where it could have been certain range of length or diameter?
I did, yes.
And what was your reading?
Can I refer to my notes,
Yes,
please?
please.
Oh, by all means, we want accuracy here. We're talking about a man's life. And by the way, we're all expecting 0.308. We're told it's a 30-06. But madam, please.
The range of the diameter for the 6A bullet jacket fragment was 0.286 to 0.301
Uh-oh.
inches.
0.286 to 0.301, which means it cannot possibly have been smaller than 0.286, nor can it be larger than 0.301.
Where's 308?
Way over here. We're going to the second decimal.
Thank you, Baron. So, when this moron talks about the evidence presented in the preliminary hearing and says that it is just a foregone conclusions, it's clear as the noonday sun. Evidence, 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 mountain of evidence. It's overwhelming. It's so compelling. He's an idiot and he's dishonest. So, all of his criticisms of Candace are stupid.
So nobody can really make a conclusive statement about evidence other than the people at the lab. So if you don't have access
So then will you listen to that lady? She's the actual lady that tested the ballistics. You know what they did? You guys want to know what the prosecution did? The prosecution didn't call expert witnesses that did the analysis. They didn't call the DNA expert analysis. They didn't call the ballistic expert analysis. They had their two SBI investigators read their conclusive statements from the results given to them from the experts. But the defense called the experts themselves, and the experts themselves gave testimony that wasn't what the prosecution SBI investigators said. They'd have you believe it pointed to the 30-06, and it is conclusive that it was a 30-06 round, and it came from that rifle, and that the DNA was so conclusive. It's one in the 1 trillionth of, deviation that it wouldn't be Tyler Robinson. I didn't even get to the issues with the DNA. That we could do that on another show, but there was issues even with the DNA. Yeah. So Brandon is he's just a goober.
to interviewing the people at the lab, you don't have access to seeing what their findings are. You don't have access to forensically interview people, and not just interview people. You don't even have if you don't have the training to properly interview somebody.
Oh, you got to be an expert. Dang it. They're running out the COVID op on us again. Y'all don't know. You haven't been there. You don't have a lab coat. You don't have those initials before your name. You're not an expert. We're not stupid, though. So we can listen to the experts and come to our own conclusions. These people are wanting us to not think for ourselves. They're saying because you didn't go to school, you don't have that experience or that specific specialty, you can't make any kind of informed decision on anything. That's what they want. You don't think, we'll tell you, listen to us. Don't worry, we won't guide you right into a slaughter. No, come. The water's warm, my dear. The oven's nice and warm. It'll keep you nice and warm. Just get in there. Like Hansel and Gretel.
You cannot claim that you've done an investigation. I don't care who you are. And with that being said, if the investigation from a third-party person was so diligent and so concrete and so damning and revealing, the defense team, who's getting paid millions of dollars to defend Tyler Robinson, would have called the third-party person and said, give us what you got. They hadn't made one argument based on any conspiracy theory. So now you're led to say that.
Here's what's crazy. Ha, gotcha, buddy. the defense isn't there to prove probable cause. The defense isn't there to put forth a narrative in a preliminary hearing. They're there to poke holes in the prosecution's theory during the preliminary hearing. And since for probable cause, it all is about the evidence. Do you have enough evidence for probable cause to take this to trial? So the defense's approach to this is just to poke holes in the evidence. And there was many holes, many, and they did a great job of it. This was not the time to put forth any alternative theories. Okay, that's not what the preliminary hearing is for. And the judge wouldn't even allow them to go that route anyway. They just have to address the things that were brought up by the prosecution and show that it either isn't what they're saying it is, or that evidence, there's something wrong with it, or, you know, something along those lines. But, and Brandon either knows that and doesn't care, or he literally is that stupid. I don't know. Maybe both. Oh my gosh. Forgot he was there.
The defense team is in on it. That's the only thing that's left. The defense team has to be in on it because they're overlooking all this evidence too. I'm gonna call Candace. Maybe one of these days I'm gonna call her.
He's not gonna call her. You like how he said that? I'm gonna call Candace. Not right now. No. One of these days I'm gonna call her. No, you're not, bro. Bro, she would run circles around you and your little IQ. All right. But I'd love it if you did. Could you do it on a live? We'd love to see it. Maybe you could pop up in an X space and we could just all watch as that went down.
I'm busy today, but I gotta talk to, because I don't.
I didn't even know that was coming. I didn't make it that far in this video when I pre-watched it. I'm busy today, though. I'm too busy today. I'm gonna do it someday. I will. I promise I'll get to it. I'm too busy today, though. I can't do it today.
I'm not the person to get online and talk trash about anybody, especially not somebody that's my friend.
He's doing it right now. What do you call this, Brandon? This is online. Do you not know where your videos go when you upload them, you freaking idiot? They go online. YouTube is online. Your mouth is moving, and I'm watching it from my house, and you're online. As Andrew Kolvet would say, IRL.
So y'all got my opinions on it. You got my opinions on what I think of what Candace is saying. I'm going to call her because after the evidence has been presented, there has to be some reconciliation with this.
Somebody said, would you ever sit down with Candace? 100%. I would, if Candace is watching this, somebody send it to Candace. I would appreciate the opportunity to sit down with Candace and go over these things, because I believe that.
That's so weird. For someone that has her number, for someone that says they're that close, he's asking one of us in the audience to send Candace this video. Like, that's the right way to ask Candace to sit down with him, is to have someone send her a video he did about her. Make that make sense.
Things that I say could be helpful to her statements moving forward. Why did Erica forgive him and not Candace? Well, who's to say that Erica didn't forgive Candace? Oh, wait a minute. Why did Erica forgive him and not Candace?
Yes.
Are you saying Erica forgave him and didn't forgive Candace? Or are you saying Erica forgave him, but Candace didn't forgive him?
Why did Erica forgive Tyler Robinson and so quickly, but she's not forgiving Candace?
How do you know if she forgave Candace or not?
Well, because she's pissed at Candace and she's letting all of her little minions still call out Candace. And I think, well, at least on the Barry Weiss interview, and I'd have to scroll through my memory bank of any other place. Oh, wait. Yeah, she did when she wore all black. Remember when she wore all black and the black hat and she was like, remember that? She didn't forgive Candace. She was pissed. Okay.
She gave a public speech where she mentioned that she forgave Tyler Robinson. You don't know how she feel about Candace.
Yeah, we do. We have her own words. Where have you been, bro?
Do you?
Yep, we do.
Okay. I think you should think about that.
I did. Maybe you should think about it. Maybe you're not watching everything she's putting out there.
Now, if you tell me that all of your ailments and your critique of Erica Kirk is all from Candace Owens, you need to look at multiple sources because you're getting it from one place. And
nope. All of my critiques of Erica Kirk come from right here and right here. Okay. Candace doesn't make my decisions. I see some things that she does on there and I use it to help inform my decisions. But honestly, a lot of what it is like looking at the case, right? Looking at everything that Erica has said and done, Andrew Kolvet, Blake Neff, Mikey McCoy, all that, the inconsistencies in their stories, their timeline. That's where I form, and most people form their decisions. I don't know many people that I know in this community or others that simply form their opinion about Erica solely from what they watch on Candace's show.
And you can consider that one place may not be the best place to get the information. It may be. But if you're just picking all of your stuff from the same person, you got to question, like.
We'll go on to the next thing. Let's see. I think it's this one where he does say, he says something different here. Yeah, I wanted to hear this. It's a different video.
Essentially over. The state rests its case. I know there's a lot of conspiracies that are out there, and I want to kick every conspiratorial tooth out of the mouths of these fools. And so I'm going to open it up for Q&A. If you have questions about the trial, you have questions about anything, you can ask me the questions. I'm going to open up for Q&A for about 20, 30 minutes, and we're going to get through everything humanly possible associated with the Charlie Kirk's trial and more. Welcome to the Off Tatum Show.
Oh, I'm not going to. Let me go after his whole little.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back. I want to first of all say thank you to all the members. I appreciate you guys support that every conspiracy theory that have gained traction in the last 10 months is all hogwash.
So who would you say has been called the biggest proponent of the conspiracy theories, that when he says conspiracy theories and conspiracy theorists, like, who do you think he's talking about? Who do you think he's talking about? He's talking about Candace Owens. Well, I don't know why you can't just say what he means. You're a grown man, Officer Tatum. Can't you just say what you mean?
And the evidence is out there. People are still lying to you. And there's one person in particular. I'm not going to say who it is. You know who it is.
Why can't you say who it is? You know who it is. We know who it is.
I'm very disappointed in the things that I'm seeing online because it is far from the truth. I think one thing that was shared with me just a minute ago was that somehow Lance Twiggs is a working for the state.
How stupid are you? He gave his first witness statement, or sorry, his interview, his testimony, whatever, back in September. It was wholly insufficient. We did not see in the pretrial one clip from that interview. They didn't even submit any of that interview into evidence. Why? How is there nothing meaningful from the very first interview that they did with Lance Twiggs when his memory was the freshest, before he had been promised immunity or promised anything else or threatened anything, before his parents all of a sudden bought 2 homes? They're not super wealthy. They're not poor, but they're not wealthy. 2 homes, created an LLC and a nonprofit all at the same time in March. And it just so happens that that's the interview that we see all those clips that we saw this week from. Yeah, that would mean, like, it's just like A equals B, therefore B equals A. You know? Yeah, that he might be working for, or at least he not working for, but I mean, like, he's definitely been, like, I don't know what you call it, an informant or whatever you want to call it. You know, he's turned state's witness.
I'm not going to get into it. I'm answering y'all's questions today. So just shoot away as many questions you can. Super chats, I'll see it a lot quicker. All right, let's start with the first question. It says, today was insane.
Okay. That was the only part I wanted to share from that. Now let's go to, I think I want to stay in line with, we'll get back to him later, but this has to do with Candace. So if you guys remember, Seth Dillon is the guy that was at the Religious Liberties Commission. Is that what it was called? With Carrie Prasheen Bowler. Am I messing that up? Carrie Ann Prasheen Bowler or whatever. And Seth Dillon was the one that she really got into on that commission about the Hamptons retreat. Seth Dillon was there. He had lied about it. Candace called them out about it. And at the time, then Carrie was like, I'm gonna ask you about it. Right. And it was good. Man, maybe I should have pulled that up today too, just to refresh our memory. That's where they called her an anti-Semite because she's not a Zionist and she doesn't support Zionism, right? Because she's Catholic, right? And I think it beyond came out that there was some sort of confrontation and argument and pressure and like bullying that happened at the Hamptons retreat. Tucker said it himself. Actually, that's true. Tucker did say it himself because after the Hamptons, he flew directly to Tucker's to film the episode that he filmed last summer. And Tucker said he was pissed, that Charlie Kirk was pissed and told him that very thing, that these jerks were pressuring him. That's also where the BB phone call happened. And the I'll take TPUSA to the next level, 180 million. But you know what that will mean. Lots of strings. So that's this Seth Dillon, right? And Candace said this guy's evil. Okay. He should not be trusted. And so far, the people that she said she believes are evil, I actually, on my own, when I just watch them and I listen to them and I listen to the spirit inside of me, I go, Ben Shapiro, evil. Okay. Bibi Netanyahu, evil. Stacey Sheridan, evil. Okay. Seth Dillon, evil. I get it on my own. I didn't need her to tell me that. It just was great. Now we got two sources, 2 data points. All right, let me read this real quick. You're 100% about leave it to the experts. It's called anti-intellectualism or appeal to an authority fallacy. Yes, it is. It's meant to enforce learned helplessness. Yes, it is. 100%. Appeal to authority. You don't get to make that argument. Do you have a degree? Oh, then you can't say anything. You don't have a degree. All right. Let's see. Oh, I didn't know that when I changed the font, you guys, on my title, I didn't know it was going to change the font for everybody's super chat. If it bothers you guys, I can change it back. I thought it was just for my name and the Black Line Brief. I updated the font and the color tonight. I didn't know it was actually going to change the font for all your guys' super chats. All right. Heather has issues. Thank you so much for the super chat. Someone needs to tell Candace to make and sell black knitted beanies with a battle bun. I would buy it. That's funny. That's good. You guys crack me up. That's good. All right, let's keep on keeping on. Seth Evil Man Dillon. Oh, and he's with the number one in the closet homosexual around Jeremy Boring.
Candace, for example, because this is a situation where she had said that I betrayed her as well. This is why she doesn't like me anymore. This is why she turned on me. It's because there was a whole debate over whether Christ is king is something that the Groypers are saying. Is it anti-Semitic? Isn't it anti-Semitic?
You guys said it is. You said it is anti-Semitic to say Christ is king. And you know why they want to say that it is? Because they cannot admit or say that Jesus Christ, they can't even say Jesus Christ. That's why a lot of them will just say JC, or they'll just refer to him, his person, without saying it. But to say Christ is king is like an even bigger blasphemy to them. And so they hate it when we say that. They hate it. So they want to deem it anti-Semitic.
This is a public conversation that's happening, right? And this is happening around the time that she's exiting the Daily Wire. I don't know if maybe she already had, maybe she hadn't yet. I'm not sure, but it is something that she had said in response to Ben Shapiro. And there's this debate going on around whether or not Christ is King is anti-Semitic. So she's talking about it publicly. I chime in the comments and say, well, in my experience, Christ is King. First of all, I'm a Christian myself. So I proclaim that Christ is King. I think Christ is King of the entire universe. He is God and creator of the universe.
Wait, what? What did they do? What did they do to Jeremy's body? Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? Why is his head so big? I didn't do anything to this video, you guys. Why does he look like he's a character from what was that movie? That South Park did, the Durka. What was that movie? America. I forget what that movie is called. Why does he look like he's a caricature? Oh yeah, like when you go to like a theme park and you sit down with your partner or by yourself, right? And they draw you, they draw like a cartoon version of you, and your body's like little, and you're like and then your head's like big, and it's like a cartoonish version of you. Why is that Jeremy Boring in real life? I did not do anything to this video, I swear.
And that ultimately, we're all subject to his rulership, whether we like it or not, or whether we admit it or not. So
wait, even the Jews? Can you go tell that to Ben Shapiro? Can you go tell that to Bibi Netanyahu? Can you? Please.
A Christ is King person. But there are people showing up in my comments, for example, saying things like, Christ is King, you dirty Jew. Now,
okay. Hey, you dirty scumbag. Candace never said that. And the argument and what's up for discussion right now is Christ as King by itself anti-Semitic? Is that by itself anti-Semitic? And I bet you $1 million. Whoever said Christ is King, you dirty bleh, is posting that from Tel Aviv, is posting that from Israel, is posting that from inside the Mossad or the IDF. Or it's one of the, Jewish donors. It's, Ben Shapiro himself. It's maybe Seth. Maybe it's freaking Jeremy Boring. It's not actual people that are Christian are going to say that. I'm not going to say Christ is King and then say something's like not good like that and attach that to Christ. And anyone that's a good Christian isn't going to do that. And so I think that's just a total made up thing that's one of them did. So then they can now say, well, see, other people that are saying Christ is King are also saying this very anti-Semitic thing. See how now they're the same. Now you can't say this because that's anti-Semitic. Wow, isn't that interesting?
When I hear somebody say that, they're on the one hand leading off with a phrase that many Christians would identify with, while at the same time expressing disdain or hatred for people of a certain religious belief or ethnicity. And I don't see compatibility between those two things. I see them as being at odds with each other. And I think it's an abuse of Christ's name to pair it with that kind of hatred.
Look how gross these guys are. Candace never said that. They're talking about Candace. They're talking about her at the Daily Wire. They're talking about this term that she was under attack for, saying how she said it is just simply Christ is King. That's it. Now he's entering in this other statement from an unnamed source from who knows who, and now saying, yeah, see now? See?
You can't affirm that Christ is King and all of the things that come with that, including that we're made in God's image and that we all have dignity and rights and value in light of the fact that we're made in God's image, while all disparaging people because of their beliefs or their identity. I think that's wrong, and I think it's an abuse of Christ's name to try to take that phrase and use it as like a cudgel to beat Jews over the head with.
Candace never did that. Neither did we.
I think that's wrong. So there's some nuance to this, Candace. This is what I was saying to Candace in my comment. There's nuance to this. No, the phrase is not anti-Semitic. Yes, anti-Semites sometimes abuse the phrase. I think we could probably agree on that. Maybe.
No. Nope. I don't agree.
Maybe not.
No.
But thanks for starting this conversation. I think it's an important conversation to have. That's all I said to Candace.
That's
it.
betrayal.
That's the betrayal. So and when she went on Tucker's show and she said that I betrayed her, she cited my disagreement with her on Christ is King as the reason for that. She didn't quote me. They didn't throw the tweet up there on the screen so that we could all see it and see what I actually said. He didn't press her to try to figure out, well, what was it that Seth actually said that was a betrayal?
They can't put her tweet on the screen either because she insists that she never said it to a Jew. But of course, she was saying it to Ben Shapiro
yeah.
in a conflict in which she was invoking scripture.
Right.
Yeah.
But I guess my point, what I'm trying to get at here is that, these characterizations are mischaracterizations done very deliberately for the purpose of harming my reputation and making me look bad in front of their massive audience.
But you would agree that these are actual relationships between actual people, and because they're personal relationships to some degree, there is a requirement to deal with certain issues personally. I mean, have you tried to deal with either Candace or Tucker personally during any of this conflict?
Yeah. Well, but this one in particular, the Christ is King thing, I was very gracious and respectful in that response. So again, this wasn't a situation. I even said in my response to her, I'm not saying that you've abused the phrase necessarily. I'm saying I've seen it abused. I'm not accusing you of anti-Semitism. I'm not accusing you of abusing the Lord's name. I'm saying I've seen it abused myself.
Then why even bring it
and
up?
so I think that there are cases where Christ is King can be adopted by anti-Semitism, including there are actually cases where people have said explicitly that they use that phrase to identify each other as groypers.
This is what's so gross, dude. Because some people in some group have misrepresented, misused, and perverted this term. Now us, like Candace, who've only used it in a good sense, and all she did was say it directly to Ben. Yeah. You shall not. You never utter the phrase Christ is King at me, says Ben Shapiro. I'm not allowed to say it, and I'm not allowed to hear it either. And then they go and attack her for it. And now they're saying, like, well, all these other people, these groypers, and this other person that we don't even know who, but it's probably someone in Israel, said, Christ is King, you dirty little. None of us have ever said that. And now they're saying, like, that's their argument against Candace. Candace never said that. These guys have nothing.
They use it to try to, stick it to the Jews, whatever. And so, to say that and to say it graciously and say, this is my contribution to this discussion. I'm saying this respectfully.
His contribution is no contribution at all.
I'm not really even disagreeing with you in a like a deep and meaningful way where I'm saying, you're really wrong about this, and here's why you're so wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just adding some nuance. That's it.
Okay, so no contribution then? You're just adding some nuance. So you're telling us something that someone said that Candace didn't say, and you're attributing it to other people that say Christ is King, and you're wondering why she feels like you betrayed her. Because you're a Christian, and you should have backed her and just said Christ is King, and there's nothing anti-Semitic about it. Okay? Not when people just say Christ is King by itself. Nothing anti-Semitic about it. Okay? And when you didn't do that, that is betrayal. Yeah. Of the highest degree. Puppy Paul's boring looks like the opposite of Beetlejuice in the waiting room with the shrunken head. Yeah. It's like, I don't know. And his body was little too, at least in that first portion when he was like sitting there and his head's all big and he's like a little body. I don't know, like they shrunk him or something. Or that's just him. Maybe that's just him.
A little bit of nuance here that's being missed, and I'm just adding that. So I didn't feel that rose to the level of like needing to have some kind of private thing because I wasn't being, you're saying like, does the harshness of it come into play? I think sure it does, but that wasn't harsh. I wasn't being harsh. I wasn't being unfair. I think I was being extremely charitable and kind and gracious in the way that I framed it. And anybody can go look it up and see what
This is how they view themselves. Holy smokes. I was being extremely generous, extremely kind, and very charitable.
Actually said.
And I suppose one could also say, should she have called you before she accused you of betrayal? Or should Tucker have contacted you before he accused you of betrayal? I mean, the standard, if there's a standard, it has to apply.
It has to apply both ways.
Wait, is Jeremy drunk? Is he on drugs right now? Did you guys see his eyes? Did he just pop a bunch of Quaaludes, or like, what is he on? This guy's like not all there. He's just like in this like dazed state. What's going on with this guy? Is this just him all the time?
Yes, I'm not. I have never received.
He mixed up his uppers he was supposed to take, and he accidentally took the downers.
Received that benefit of the doubt or that charity from them. Now, yes, there have been attempts. I hate having conflict with people. Like I said, I wasn't looking for conflict. I wasn't trying to create enemies out of people. I am willing to disagree with my friends on issues of importance
and someone that's not your friend that literally just asked if I didn't support Zionism, am I an anti-Semite? And then when she had the audacity to question you in front of others. So what happened at the Hamptons there, Seth? Huh? What went down there?
I think they're on the wrong side of, and that where they are publicly promoting something that I think is a bad idea, I have no issue with. In fact, I do think we have a moral duty to stand up against even our own friends when they're promoting bad ideology.
She's not your friend.
And so I'm willing to do that. I don't want to have to do that. And I'm also willing to have private conversations with them to try to understand them better, because I would rather not be having a public conversation about some of these issues where, it's all about scoring points and slinging insults and trying to ratio the other person.
Yeah.
When you can just pick up the phone and call somebody and talk to them. So,
So tell me about those attempts. You said attempts.
I have had those attempts. I've reached out to both. I've had personal interaction where I've reached out to both myself proactively. I initiated it with both Candace and Tucker over the course of the last couple of years. A couple of times. The
two most popular anti-Semites. Oh.
Where do you want to start with? Which one? I mean, the most recent attempt was with Tucker after Charlie died, after he was killed. I reached out to Tucker and I said, look, we clearly don't see eye to eye on some things. We've had some negative interaction publicly, some back and forth, but there is no reason why we can't find a way to reconcile on a personal level, where we say,
I was waiting for him to just bust out in song. Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Because you're evil.
If I've mischaracterized anything that you've said or done, I'm willing to apologize for that. I'm open to having a conversation where we try to bury the hatchet and just put that behind us, especially in light of the fact that something's happened to Charlie. This could happen to any of us. It could happen to any of us at any time.
No, not if you don't turn on Israel. You'd have to turn on Israel first to have the same thing happen to you that happened to Charlie, because that's what happened to Charlie. You leave me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. And then you guys had your little, last chance meeting with him on the night of the 9th. He gets out of that meeting and goes, I think they're going to kill me. Yep. Pretty sure they're going to kill me.
And it wouldn't sit right with me if it happened to one of us without us ever having made an effort on that level, despite how deeply I disagree with some of the things that he says. I was willing to say that. I wanted him to hear that from me. Initially, he was receptive to that. He said something like, amen. I think this is important. It was something brief like that. And then it wasn't long after that someone, apparently he hadn't been aware that I had commented on Charlie's post saying that Tucker shouldn't be a speaker at AmFest. And I guess someone made him aware of that. And this was after I had reached out to him privately. So he's following up now later, a couple weeks later or something, saying, I wanted to reach out to you directly because I've seen.
So Seth Dillon was part of that group chat. And I even think Seth Dillon is the one that responded to Charlie when Charlie was like, I'm having Tucker on and I'm thinking about having Candace on. And that person was like, nah, I don't think that's a good idea. You might think that's a good idea right now, but in the long term, that's not a good idea. I have a feeling that was this guy. Okay. One of Charlie's last wishes, words where he was truly free and he was saying what he wanted, regardless of what the repercussion was going to be, was that he wanted to have Tucker and Candace on. And he said in August at different events that he considered Tucker and Candace still to be very, very good friends all the way to the very end. So yeah, you saying after he's gone that you think Tucker shouldn't be allowed at Amfest when he was picked to be at Amfest by Charlie when Charlie was still alive. You're going to rob Charlie of one of the decisions he made when he was still alive? Yeah, that's betrayal. Yep, sure is.
I've been told that you were telling Charlie that I shouldn't be at Amfest. And I wanted to hear from you directly if that's true. Were you bullying Charlie and trying to coerce him into not having me at Amfest or whatever? I was like, well, I certainly wasn't bullying him. I expressed my opinion that I don't think that your message should be amplified from that stage. No.
So now they are talking about the Hamptons. So after Student Action Summit, when Tucker and Megyn came on the stage, and Tucker also had to sit down. So Tucker had a speech and he went on, and then Tucker sat down with Charlie, and they had another segment together, the two of them. After that was when Charlie really, really started getting a lot of hate, a lot of pressure, a lot of bullying from all of these people. And Seth is one of them that did that, probably through text and phone calls and emails, but also at the Hamptons.
I think it should be repudiated from that stage. I stand by that. It was a public comment. That's my opinion. And I'm allowed to share my opinion.
And I bet he thinks Ben should be there. I bet, when they were like, should we have Ben on? Seth's like, definitely take Tucker out and put Ben on.
And so we had a back and forth about that, where he was, prying me for more information. And I had to ask him, I was like, are we having a conversation, just the two of us, or are you looking for content for your show?
Oh,
and
yeah,
because he
right.
was about to go live, he's like, I need a response quickly. And I'm like, why do you need a response quickly? Is this for your show? And he would.
You're such an idiot. He needed a response quickly because he had to go do a show. It's at a time slot, you freaking idiot.
Wouldn't answer that. And so he immediately, on the heels of that dialogue where I'm explaining, the conversation that I had publicly with Charlie, he then goes on the air and says that, I was one of these thugs and bullies who was pressuring Charlie behind the scenes. And
which you were.
And he said behind the scenes too.
Because Hamptons was a private donor retreat. That is behind the scenes. It's not a public thing where you did it. You were doing it behind the scenes.
When there was none of that happening behind the scenes at all. What I was referring to and what I explained to Tucker was literally a public comment.
Right.
So
and literally what Tucker was talking about was what he knew because Charlie told him what you guys had done at the Hamptons.
He got the truth from me and then went with his narrative anyway.
This is how dishonest these scumbags are. Let me go here because we're going to stay on this Tucker thing for a second. All righty. Let me make it bigger.
He make me more upset than anybody else because Charlie Kirk believed in Tucker Carlson. He admired Tucker Carlson. He let Tucker come to his on the stage. He took backlash. He lost donors over Tucker, and Tucker don't even have the nerve to show up here and support his family. He could at least be in town, but he's not because he's a B.
So Tucker also stuck up for Charlie. Charlie said that himself, okay, when they were together. And Charlie did say, or Tucker said that Charlie stuck up for him, and Charlie said that Tucker stuck up for him. They were mutual friends. It was a mutual respect. And Tucker doesn't believe the lone gunman theory. He said that Tyler might have something to do with it, but he doesn't believe the official FedSlop narrative. And he also doesn't agree with everything that Jack Posobiec and Blake Neff and Andrew Kolvet have all done since Charlie's assassination, like being Israeli shills, right? And not endorsing Massey and supporting the war in Iran when Tucker himself knew that Charlie was against that, right? By coming out and saying that Charlie wasn't struggling and changing his ways in his belief and support for Israel, which he was. Tucker was one of the last people to speak with him privately in depth about all these things when Charlie was at his house for the filming of that show. Tucker doesn't need to go. He has not said anything negative about Erica. You know, he said that he likes her, he loves her, he cares for her, and he respects that, you know, that's the mother of Charlie's kids and she's the widow. But he has issues with the decisions that have been made, the choices that have been made by Erica and those at TPUSA. And he questions the official lone gunman theory. Yeah. And he had Joe Kent on and other people that speak to that there looks to have been at least others that knew and beforehand, and that there might have been foreign government involvement and that it was shut down by Cash and Dan Bongino. Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting heated. Bruh.
Bet.
I hate fake people.
Like you, go look in the mirror.
Tucker, you was not Charlie's friend. Even if you didn't speak on this case, which is how in the could you not? Why are you not supporting Erica Kirk?
He literally has. He has supported her as much as he should with the questions that he has. Charlie literally said, and Tucker did too, they were still friends to the very end. So you're not Charlie's friend for saying that about Candace and about Tucker.
Why are you not at least standing by her? Why you don't at least tweet on her behalf? Now that the evidence has come out, why are you not coming out and saying, you know, think about this. You were really so much a Charlie's friend. Why are you not have Erica on your show?
How come Erica hasn't been on your show? How come Erica hasn't been on your show? Erica hasn't been on really anybody else's show. She's done a few things here and there. She wouldn't go on Tucker's show. Tucker would ask her real questions. Who knows? Tucker maybe even has asked, and either Brandon knows that, and he's going to do this because he knows that we don't know that. Or, you know, yeah, like if he asked her and she denied, or, you know, she wouldn't do it anyway. But she's never been on your show either. So you're not his friend then under that same, you know, comparison?
Why? You don't want to have Erica on your show.
Neither do you.
Why are you not down here in Utah? He make me more of.
Oh, it's one of those you haven't been there arguments again. Oh, if you were really Charlie's friend, you'd come down to Utah. You'd come down to Utah and be a propagandist like all of us. Tucker's integrity isn't for sale like all of you. Now we got Glenn Beck, who's just as bad as Mark Levin, if not worse. I don't know. They're equally bad. Look, Jack Posobiec. Look at this face, dude. Holy smokes. Okay, I'm all caught up on super chats. Okay, let me get back to it.
What did it feel like sitting in that room this week?
Well, Glenn, thanks for having me on, and of course for your support and your family's support, and to Erica and to her family, Charlie's parents who are there every day. It's surreal, and we're going back here in about an hour's time. I'm just about a mile up from the courthouse. I'm right here in Provo, and you know it's surreal because it's such a big. I mean, when Charlie died, when he was killed, it was such a world-shattering event. And so much has happened since then, and that to bring all of that into such a small room, it's quite a small space, and you've got only about 6 rows. They're like wooden church pews almost, and you've got Erica and Charlie's family, and
so you hear that there wouldn't even have been a different place to put Charlie's family, but next to Erica. Okay, there's 6 pews. It's extremely small space. There's not like a prosecution and defense side. Okay, they're going to put people together that are all in Tyler's family and then people that are all on Charlie's side, all in the same area. I don't think it was a choice. We never saw them enter, exit, make any statement together. All the statements that were put out by Erica's lawyer, and they just conveniently say the Kirk family. Okay, they could have said Charlie's parents and Erica made a joint statement. They didn't.
So us and some of the friends are there. Senator Mike Lee stopped by. We had Don Jr. stop by for a couple of days, and then Tyler's family is there as well.
No,
then you've got SWAT officers just all over the place. Security is extremely tight, and for a million reasons. And then there's, you know, a couple tables of the lawyers, the prosecutors, and then sitting right there in the room is Tyler Robinson, who's at the center of all of this. So they're all right there. And I forget if I said, but Tyler's family is there too. So his mother and father, and my heart goes out to them. I've been praying for them as well. We can't have phones in the room, so I've been praying a lot. And you know, I realize
that's a weird statement. We can't have phones in the room, so I've been praying a lot. So what, when you have your phone, you don't pray a lot? When you have your phone, you don't pray for them? I mean, were you praying for them like you were praying for Charlie that day when you couldn't even recite the Lord's Prayer? Is that how you pray? Is that what you're talking about? I don't know that I'd want Jack praying for me. I don't know that he's praying to the same God that we're praying to.
To me, that they lost their son too. Their lives have been shattered as well. And you know,
Horrible.
When we look at it from an evidentiary perspective, they were the people as well who picked up the phone initially, the mother and father,
I know,
and called law enforcement and said, that's our son on TV. And I just, as a dad, I can't even.
If that were true, why didn't the prosecution present that? We never saw as any piece of evidence that Tyler's Robinson's parents actually identified him by video or photographs that they released in those early hours. They are saying because they helped mediate the safe surrender of Tyler, that is the same as them identifying Tyler through video photographs and turning him in. They're saying because the LDS former police officer friend heard the rumblings of what was already going on in the community out there, and Tyler either reached out to him or vice versa, or however that happened, but that they together decided that the smartest thing to do so that he wouldn't be Lee Harvey or Oswald or Jack Rubied was to dictate the terms of the safe surrender. And they helped facilitate that. And then they say, well, that means Tyler confessed to them. That means that Tyler's parents turned him in based off identifying him from the photos and the videos. How come none of that? We never see that anywhere in the evidence. It's cited all the time. It's like repeated every day. We didn't see that at all. How come he hasn't pled guilty? How come his parents haven't? Yeah, because that didn't happen like that. It's nuts.
Imagine. I don't even
that's
know.
That's the bravest and hardest thing I've seen a parent do. And once in a while, we are blessed enough to see a parent who loves their child.
Oh, these guys are gross. This isn't even the clip that I really wanted. My bad. Let's go here.
Let me talk to you a little bit about what's going on in Provo, Utah. For 10 months now, America has told the story of the murder of Charlie Kirk. I mean, it's more than one story, too, which is.
So he says, we've been telling the story about the murder of Charlie Kirk, and he starts laughing. That's weird. That's just weird. It's morbid. Birds of a feather flock together.
Been very interesting. I mean, you listen to some podcasters who are just asking questions. And of course,
they all got their talking points this week. Candace is out. We all have to hammer Candace Owens all week. We got to drive it home. She is the enemy. She is evil.
Of course, it was a deep state hit, but it was a deep state hit caused by the Jews. It was a false flag. It was a crisis actor.
She's never said it was a false flag. Okay. What the crisis actor is George Zinn. He is a crisis actor.
It was a convenient death dressed up.
Oh, and then all those people that gave fake witness statements immediately saying that Charlie was shot in the chest, the heart. What's his name? Zach Jacoby or whatever. Phil Lyman. Yeah, there was a bunch of crisis actors prepped and ready to go and sent out immediately with their talking points.
Assassinate as an assassination. One podcaster insinuated that maybe it was my daughter that did it.
Not Candace.
Oh, you caught me now. So this week in the 4th District Courthouse, Provo, Utah, none of those stories showed up. You know, none of them. It was weird.
Same
It was
talking
really
point.
weird. When you look at the evidence, you're like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe it wasn't my daughter. But actually what showed up was stranger, a little more terrifying because it is more human than any of the Jews did it kind of stuff. The evidence has, come in now. I mean, the real evidence, the way it always comes in, slowly, under oath, on screens, surveillance video of a young man crossing a rooftop, dropping into the shooting position, firing one round through Charlie Kirk's neck.
They all got the same talking points. Isn't that weird? Okay, it's almost like Graham Allen and his rapid response team, got everyone together. Maybe they're on a group chat like Paramount Not So Tactical stated, and they're all making sure that they're regurgitating and hitting the same points, right? Oh, they saw the shot get fired. Nope. Oh, the conspiracies never showed up in court. Notice that the defense didn't present any of their own conspiracy theories as the possible, cause of death for Charlie. They all know that was never going to happen in the prelim. The defense isn't presenting a case. They're showing the lack of case that the prosecution has in the preliminary hearing, just to get to the point where the judge can say, not sufficient for probable cause. That's the whole purpose. Stay within your scope. It's not the scope of the prelim, Glenn. They all know that. Brandon knows that. They all got the same talking points. They're all attacking Candace. Gosh, dude.
Well, 3,000 people watched and then started to run. Also, a grandfather's bolt-action Mauser wrapped in a towel, ditched in the woods. There was DNA. There was ballistics. And then there was also the voice of the person who knew him best.
The whole case really rests on Lance Twiggs' personal testimony, the stupid letter that a smart, intelligent kid couldn't even burn all the way and destroy and not leave any trace elements behind. That the same kid that could pull off this whole assassination and literally get away with it, then just was like, nah, getting away with it's too easy. I'm going to admit to it through text messages, so those can't be deleted. Then I'm going to go on a Discord chat, and I'm going to admit it to it in there. Then I'm going to go home, and I'm going to admit to him in person. Every piece of evidence that they're using to like really drive home that Tyler's did it, and there's guilt, and he admitted guilt, and he even had remorse, and he said he wished hadn't done it, and he was crying. He was pacing around the apartment that day, keeping himself busy because he was so distraught. And the physical evidence isn't even what they're saying it is. The ballistic, the bullet doesn't even measure to the right diameter of a 30-06. The DNA isn't conclusive. It just shows that Tyler Robinson is one source of the contributors to the 6 different contributor samples that were on the different pieces of physical evidence, like the rifle, the screwdriver, and the towel. Which, if those things were pulled from his house, his apartment, they were personal objects of his, yes, they're going to have his fingerprints and DNA on it. Notice that the DNA was also degraded, though, so it wasn't that Tyler had even touched any of those things that day. And Lance Twiggs' DNA was on all of them as well. Interesting. You don't hear Glenn and Brandon and Jack citing any of the issues with the mountain of evidence that they cite.
His trans lover, the roommate and partner, Lance Twiggs.
And we don't even know that. We don't even know that for sure. I think the parents did admit that they might have been in a relationship, but to what degree were they really lovers? That's all coming from Lance Twiggs as well.
Now, Lance was granted immunity.
Oh, yeah.
Interviewed on tape. Told investigators what happened in the hours after.
No, not the first time. First time, he clearly didn't say anything meaningful. They would have used a little bit from both. We don't see anything filmed on the first interaction with Lance Twiggs and the authorities. We only see the interaction that took place after the immunity deal was given.
The text under the keyboard, the messages where Robinson was admitting that it was him. And he felt really bad. I wish I wouldn't have done it. I wish I wouldn't have done it. You're not the one who actually did it, are you? Yeah, I did. I couldn't take it anymore. You know,
This is their evidence. A picture of a phone with someone who's the person that wrote that contact in there? Lance. Does that mean Lance could have also wrote a different name and put a different profile picture there? Doesn't mean that this is Tyler Robinson. Doesn't mean that at all. It could be literally anybody.
those kinds of things. And then the morning after, where he was pacing back and forth in the apartment crying, I got to turn myself in with my parents. There were no handlers, no grand design, no shadow directing the shot. No Jews, surprisingly, showed up in this. I was shocked that it looks like it was this guy. Everything the state put on those screens points to one person.
Because that's their case, you freaking idiot. Of course, the prosecution's going to put forth their case that they've been screaming from the mountaintops and the rooftops this whole time. Wait, why don't we wait and see what the defense does during trial, if it goes to trial?
Who made one irreversible choice. Now, this is a preliminary hearing. It's not a verdict. The defense is still challenging the DNA, and they should. But the shape of it is pretty darn clear, and the shape is not a movie plot. This is where it gets frightening. It's a kid. They showed the bullets. And this,
please tell the truth. The bullets didn't match the right diameter.
It's the part where the camera really kind of rushed past, I think. The casings were not engraved with a manifesto. They were engraved with jokes. A furry forum meme, an old Italian protest song that
anyone could have freaking put on there, dude. This guy. All right, let's move on to the next. I can only do so much of these people, and we'll move on. Let me make sure I got to everybody on the chat. Okay, we got someone, Seaside 514 became a member today. Right on. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Sorry, I was thinking where Seaside? There's a place down in California called Seaside. I'm from Oceanside. Are you from California? Or you just like the beach? I like the beach too. All right. Brace yourself, Dana freaking Leish.
Because there were people who were saying, "Oh, it's 30-06." Couldn't. I mean, despite the fact that
I had to start it there because someone's got to clip that. That was right at what mark were we just at when she just said that? I can't see. 128, 127, 50 something. If you guys want to clip when she just said that. Let me, where we got here? We got Man U.S. Air Force. Oh, what up, dude? Do Erica's Salem media friends forget that the spouse/widow usually is the guilty party and should at least be investigated and cleared? Was she cleared? No, she was never investigated. They say that she was, right? So when she went in to identify the body, they actually turned over personal belongings like the cell phone, the necklace, and some other items that they don't tell us what they are. And she then lied about the contents therein. That Charlie didn't send a text saying that he was afraid they were going to kill him. She first lied and said that it didn't exist. Then Candace released and was like, here they are. And then Erica was like, oh, I meant text messages. He didn't send any text messages like that. He did send like a WhatsApp or a messaging app service. He did. Yeah, he did. Did they, try to find out who had the most means, motive, and opportunity? Who has benefited the most? Who is the single person who has benefited the most? That's hard. I would say Erica, but that's hard. A lot of people benefited a lot. Erica seems to have benefited the most. Who had the most to lose if Charlie stayed alive? A lot of people. So it's so much like the JFK assassination that Charlie hadn't just angered one individual or one group of people. It was a plethora. He had lots of enemies at the end, all of which had a lot to lose with him being alive. And all who have gained a tremendous amount after his death. You know, and this is my opinion, but I would say it's probably all of our opinions as well. So I'm not alone in that opinion.
You know, I have a 30-06. My family hunts with 30-06. And you also.
Whoa, wait, we should do a side-by-side, you guys. She looks like a 20-year-old boy. Okay. She actually could fit the description of Lance Twiggs. Huh. She has a 30-06. Her and her family have hunted with a 30-06. I never even figured maybe Dana Laish should be investigated. Just an opinion. She seems to know a lot about that caliber and has a rifle just the same, has experience firing one, fits the same physical description, even complexion as Eagle Boy. Eagle Boy had a little bit darker skin, a little bit tanner, a little bit more olive than, say, Tyler Robinson. Her hair is even dark like that person. Maybe did she cut her hair back then? Like short and wear a ball cap and glasses? I don't know. Maybe we should look into that. What do we got? Tom Birmingham. Ben Shapiro's dad is a 33rd. B'nai B'rith. Yeah, in the B'nai B'rith mob. Yeah. Aren't they all? Not like all, but I mean like these guys, you know, like Ben Shapiro. When they forced Elon Musk to do his humiliation walk, when they were calling him an anti-Semite and they made him go to Israel for forced indoctrination, guess who accompanied him personally? Ben Shapiro. What are the odds of that? I wonder if Tucker or Megyn or Candace or Charlie ever took BB up on that offer to come visit Israel. We'll help you understand. We'll show you video from October 7th. We'll take you to the Holocaust museums and show you the result of all anti-Semitism. It all ends up there. I bet you Ben would have been there to accompany them all. He's high up, dude. He is the toppest, the highest person here in the United States of the Hezbollah propaganda campaign. He's not a good person, in my opinion.
You have to consider the grain or load. You have to consider trajectory, because people were saying that, well, it was the exploding microphone that did it, and it wasn't a 30-06. But note that at no point.
Why do all these people like her and Jeremy Boring all look like they're on something? And she like doesn't move her face when she talks, and she takes like really long, slow blinks, and just her bottom lip moves when she talks. The rest of her face is comatose. It's too much Botox. She cannot make a facial expression.
In this preliminary hearing at all whatsoever, has any of the defense, neither the defense nor the prosecution has brought up an exploding microphone. No.
You know what's great? They all got the same talking points, you guys. That's why I wanted to show you guys this too tonight. They all point out the same exact thing, all this on Friday and today. Okay. You can't say that there's not coordination. You can't say that they're not all pushing a narrative and they seem to all be working together. They're all saying the same things. Also, can I ask you why can't one of them just be decent looking and have like just a decent voice to where it's literally not nails on a chalkboard every time? It's like, I'd rather pour vinegar in my eyes than look at you, you know? Ugh. It's painful. Sorry. But it's important to do this so that we know who they are. You know, there you are. There you are. I see you.
No one has talked about this. But then you have the the candy slop out there that's like, well, that's just a Fed argument. That's just so dumb. It is. But they were arguing over yesterday. They were arguing over how much of the furry trans partner his interview would be, or his deposition would be shown in the courtroom. Now, one of the things that Lorraine noted today is because they've been talking about media violations. The defense yesterday, by the way, can I just say, I have never wanted to climb into my television and sucker punch an attorney before until
I do. Every day I look at you. Okay. Every day I look at you and Ben Shapiro, Jeremy Boring, Seth Dillon, Brandon Tatum, Graham Allen, Jack Posobiec, Andrew Kolvet, Blake Neff, and the list goes on and on and on.
I watched this defense attorney. Wasn't this defense attorney, he's handled pretty high profile clients before.
Oh, she's going to list the Menendez brothers and that he's an evil attorney. He's so evil. We can't, like they all just say the same thing. It's like as if Graham Allen, head of rapid response for the Department of War, sits in his little office and he types up a list, bullet points, and then he sends it out to all of them. And they all get it. Do you guys remember when someone did a compilation of all the different mainstream news outlets in a day when they're covering what should be different stories in different cities and different states, and they literally are all repeating the same exact script verbatim? People haven't figured out yet that this whole medium has already been infiltrated. All of these people have already been bought. The only people we should really trust is small, independent, truly small, independent channels. Okay. Like if I moved my camera around, you'd be like, oh, this dude's like in his like bedroom. It is, it's just me, dude. It's me, my wife, my father-in-law, and now my brother-in-law, and then the mods in the community. But like, I'm not backed by anyone. I don't have anyone, sending me talking points and like, oh, I toe the line or else. All of these people already have been bought. They've already sold their souls. We're seeing now the same outcome that mass media, mainstream news is still doing to the boomers, because that once they saw their ratings continually going down and they're watching the data come out, that for younger and younger generations, they're consuming their news through social media. And that's why TikTok was bought by Oracle, right? BB was like, we just got TikTok. Okay. I don't know that we could trust Musk either. Honestly, him buying Twitter. They knew that they were going to have to move with the time. Okay. It either was going to pass them up or they needed to start shifting where they were sending their money, where they were going to start purchasing talent. And it's happened. TPUSA is the new Fox News. After Charlie was assassinated, TPUSA is the new Fox News. And all of these people that are also on TPUSA's, payroll are also the new Fox News. Can't trust anything they say. Not one thing. They're all being sent a list of bullet points and scripts for the day. They're all regurgitating the same talking points. Hopefully you guys can see that as I play them separately. They're all saying the same exact stupid thing. All right. Top guy in Sabbatean Antichrist Messianic cults. Ben Shapiro, right? Ben Shapiro. Yeah. I think that's what you meant, right? I suggest the book John Dee's 5 Books of Mystery. All right. I got a really good list of books that I already read. Oh, John Dee. John Dee is good. Yeah. Yep. I know who John Dee is. Books of Mystery. See, this is why I need a new desk. All I'm doing is writing on my notepad, and it is shaking the entire desk. I'm not even writing hard. I swear. The whole thing is shaking like there's an earthquake going on. There's not. I'm just barely writing it down. All right. Let me click that off. And then who do we got? Is it Cookie Mookie? Did I say that right? Or is it Koki Moki? Koki Moki or Cookie Mookie? Tell me if I got it right. Spell it phonetically in the chat, not in another super chat. Spell it phonetically. Tell me if I got it right, because one of the things here is everyone thinks it's hilarious. I'm really bad at reading people's names, like handles. Did I get it right? Is it Cookie Mookie or Koki Moki? Might be. All right, let's continue. Ugh. Does that happen to you? Does she have the same effect on you guys?
And this defense attorney gets up there and starts going after Erica Kirk. Starts going after Erica Kirk. And I know I threw it in Slack yesterday, but it was a longer bit of video. But he got up there and saying, well, she can hold press conferences and that. And people were asking, well, when has Erica Kirk ever? Erica Kirk has never held a press conference. And then prosecution immediately, her attorneys hit back pretty quickly. So thank heavens. But this it's crazy to see the hysteria and conspiracies around this hearing and the evidence, especially when the evidence is concrete, my friends. And I get a little indignant when I see people who don't even know our friend act like they're more upset than his widow.
We all are more upset than Erica. Okay. Don't you love it when, like, I literally just played the experts of Baron Coleman when he played the expert witness about the ballistics, and they literally were like, yeah, the diameter of the bullet that they're saying was retrieved from the autopsy from Charlie's neck, it is not within the right diameter to be a 30-06 caliber round. You know? What was it? 0.286 at the lower half, 0.301 at the higher end. Not even close. We're talking about 0.308. Not there. And the DNA expert as well also said that it's not what they're saying it is, that he's not the sole contributor to any of the pieces found. Rifle, towel, screwdriver, and other people that also had some sort of part in this. All their DNA and fingerprints are on the same things. And I mean, they failed to mention that if these things were pulled from Tyler's house, they would have his DNA and fingerprints on them. And that the DNA that they tested had degraded. There was degradation, meaning it wasn't a recent sample as in like that day, you know? And why didn't the bomb sniffing dogs find the rifle? You know, why didn't the 3 previous sweeps by the local law enforcement, the dogs, and then the FBI, how come they didn't find the rifle? How come it was after the FBI showed up, did their sweep? That's when I think they dropped the rifle. That's when they made the drop. Hey, we're going to do a sweep. You guys make sure no one comes over here. You guys go that way. They drop the rifle and no one's looking. Then they go over to the local 2 rookies that have less than a year put between the both of them. And they're like, can you guys just do one more sweep just to, you know, cross our T's and dot our I's? And what do you know? Those 2 rookies found it. Chain of custody with the evidence. The crime scene was not secured immediately. Things were removed from the crime scene. The crime scene itself was destroyed, compromised, and then covered up within like 5 days. They never brought bomb sniffing dogs to the actual scene of the crime where Charlie was murdered. Key pieces of what would be key pieces of evidence were turned over to Erica immediately. The SUV was cleaned, auctioned, and sold immediately. Key people were not investigated. This whole thing was a sham from the start. Brian Carter, the evidence is concrete. Concrete. She can only say that with a straight face because her face is real. In fact, isn't real. In fact, maybe her face is concrete. I knew you were going there with that. That was a good play on words. I agree. She's like, I can only move my butt when I talk. I had lost. You ever seen the movie Christmas with the Cranks? and Tim Allen, he goes to get Botox before they go on the cruise, and he's like, "This is amazing. I can't feel a thing. I can't feel a thing." And his eyebrows are like this. He looks like Spock, and he's like, "This is insane. I can't feel anything." And he goes to take a sip of water, and it just like comes out. That is Dana Loesch, ladies and gentlemen. Kash Patel is. Oh, why do I mess things up? I was going to say Kash Patel is gay and corrupt, as J. Edgar Hoover. So let me read it how you wrote it. Kash Patel is as gay as and corrupt as J. Edgar Hoover. I bet there are similar photos of Kash Patel like there were of J. Edgar cross-dressing. I have a feeling. I mean, we do know that he fits women sizes. His FBI jacket is a women's size medium. They don't make a men's size medium that small for his little Oompa Loompa, dimensions, then, measurements, He shops at Baby Gap. Him and Jeremy Boring share clothes. They share more than that. I think they do, actually. That's an interesting. Someone may need to sniff that down.
And attack his family and they're acting like, well, we're just doing it to find answers. No, you're not. You're doing it because you're a desperate pick-me, soulless, hollow creature who is trying desperately to feel like you belong to something. It's pathetic and weak.
And says the woman that literally had like a demon cry out of her on stage. She was like, "The widow." Oh, the widow.
If I could deport you, I would.
Are you a dual citizen? Do you hold a passport to Israel? Come on, Dana. I think so.
I have nothing nice to say about any of these people.
You don't have anything nice to say about anybody.
And none of these people would dare say this stuff actually to anybody's face in the public square.
Dana, I would relish the opportunity to meet you in person so that I could prove you so dead wrong. I would say everything I'm saying now, right to your shriveled, paralyzed, raisin face.
It's insane. I like what Asmongold said yesterday about all the. Okay, this is censored, but this is cut 15. Watch.
No, I'm not going to listen to Asmongold say something. Oh, okay. Maybe if it's censored, I guess. I don't like the guy. But let me read this real quick, and then maybe you guys could tell me, do you want me to play it? I'm a little nervous. She says it's censored. Maybe it's not. Hella Mella Banana. Yeah, Hella Mella Banana. Okay. Hi, have you talked about dust and debris in the barrel? Seems unusual if just fired. Thank you. Love your channel. No, I did not, but it is weird, right? So that they did find dust and debris inside the barrel. I think that the way the prosecution argued was that when it was, when he jumped off the roof and when he went to the forest and he put it there in the towel in the woods, it got dust and debris inside the barrel. I think that's what they've said, but I also don't think the gun was fired recently. I don't know that there would have been dust and debris from before because Tyler actually, well, we have to take Lance Twiggs's word on it. But there is targets that were found in the house, like practice targets, because Tyler was going to go on a hunting and fishing trip with his dad and his grandfather. So he had been practicing at a shooting range. He sucked, by the way. I don't know if I still have the one. He was not a good shot. Let's see. I don't think this will ding me. It's just a target. All right. He was not a good shot. Okay. Look at this. We call this a grouping. His grouping sucked. Okay. This grouping sucked. Another grouping sucked. Okay. This grouping's a little bit better, but then he's got one on the inside, but this is a grouping. No real grouping here. We got boom, 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 boom. Okay. Tyler, from a calm, steady, non-stressful situation where he had previously assembled and zeroed in the rifle, was not a good shot. So if the rifle was disassembled and then he assembled it on the roof, which is what they say, he took a cold bore shot, first shot. So when you disassemble a rifle and then you reassemble it, how much you tighten it, how well you put it back together, you have to zero it back in. That means you have to shoot it and make sure that it's shooting straight for you, right? And you zero in your scope and everything like that. He didn't have the opportunity to do that. And then you add on top of that all of the nerves and the stress and the pressure of the situation that he's, for the first time ever, looking through the scope, supposedly, at a human being on the other end. He's never taken a life before. There's 3,000 people there live, and he's also with the mindset that he's got to get away with this after. Imagine the stress and anxiety, the pressure. His heart would be beating. It would be so hard for him to control his breathing. Professional snipers practice years to get to that level, to where their physiological responses don't affect the shot, where they're able to mind over body, control their breathing and their heart rate to keep it low and steady, and to be able to have a steady hand to be able to take the shot. Tyler couldn't even do that with none of those factors involved, just him by himself at a shooting range. And you would have assumed that the rifle and scope were zeroed in and it was dialed in how he wanted it. That wouldn't have been the case on top of the Losi Center roof. No way. No way.
Seeing Candace panicking? Candace is a retard. Candace is a retard. And the moment, like, anybody that takes her serious.
All right. I don't want to hear you, dude, spout that nonsense. We'll just go to Dana.
And he's right. So it's Asmongold. He's one of the top streamers, and he's common sense. He fights with Hassan Piker all the time. And
because he's just one of the top streamers, that means his, what he says is gold. He can never be wrong. He could be ill-informed. He could be bought out. He could be paid. We don't know. I don't listen to him. I don't watch him at all. And, having the prerequisite or, that the qualifier that, he's one of the top streamers, therefore he's right. No.
And they really target him. They've targeted him really badly over the past couple of years.
Do you have a crush on him? Ooh, I think we found out that Dana likes Asmongold. Look at her.
But I see some of those people might not like the words he uses, but he's correct. He's absolutely correct.
Okay, so some people might not like the words he used, but not you. You do like the words he used when he was talking about Candace, don't you? Don't you?
Excuse me. On all of this. And to see just the arguments that have been coming out. If you missed, by the way, the interview that we had with Matt Tardillo, because we went into everything from, he was explaining some of the conspiracy theories, especially like the exploding microphone itself.
I call him Matt Retardio. Okay. He's supposedly, this is what's dangerous about people saying that, just because they were a Green Beret, just because they were a Marine, just because they were whatever, special forces, whatever, that therefore they're an expert, and also that they're honest. They may be an expert, and they may even not be an expert. They may think they're an expert, but here's what's most important to me. Are they honest? Do they have integrity? Who's behind them? Why are they saying the things they're saying? Because just look at Gary Not So Tactical, okay? You're saying that we should listen to him just because he was some sort of special forces guy? No. Do you not remember that one Navy SEAL that was on trial because he literally murdered someone and got away with it? There's obviously not good people in all places, in the military, in the police force, in special forces. Just because there's special forces, former special forces member, doesn't mean that they're honest, that they're good, that they're upstanding, that they're Christian. Doesn't mean that at all. Not at all.
Etc. Everything that has been proposed as an alternate theory has been entirely obliterated.
No, it hasn't.
In court by evidence.
There we go.
That is unassailable.
Notice how they all have been reading off of some sort of email, some sort of script of bullet points. They all are saying the same thing. They're all attacking Candace, and they're all saying the same thing about all of the other theories, how the evidence obliterated. Notice that the defense didn't put forth any of these conspiracy theories. No one heard any of these conspiracy theories. Finally, the conspiracy theories can be put to rest.
Is every single bit of it has been debunked.
No, it hasn't.
The fact that the claim that the killer wasn't even there on campus, he was. The fact that
notice that she's not going to prove it to you. She's just going to say he was. Okay. We've looked at the videos. You don't know who that is. They did not prove that Tyler was on campus. They proved in the beginning of the day someone similar, possibly Tyler, was on campus. If he interacted with someone with the TPUSA staff, why hasn't that person come forward? Why didn't they present that testimony that this person interacted with Tyler Robinson that morning? Lance Twiggs gave personal testimony. Why wouldn't they have someone else give personal testimony that they interacted with Tyler that morning? Why wasn't there any video surveillance that showed the front of Tyler's face clear enough that would have taken away any doubt that, yep, okay, that one's him? Even their clearest piece where they said, well, once you guys see the morning videos that we have, that one is so clear it's him. And then we saw the video and we were like, even when white dude, college student, okay, he's got Chuck Taylors, he's got shorts, maroon shirt, he's got a hat on. Okay, he drives the same kind of car. Now, I don't see license plate. The exhaust looked different. The kit in the front, the body kit on it looks different. And you're saying that's the same car that was seen the next night where a bald middle-aged guy and 3 other people got out, and you've intentionally left that out of your testimony. But then when you were crossed by the defense, you were like, yeah, the witnesses did say they saw that, but you didn't say that, did you? No. Oh, well, witness testimony can't always be believed. So, but we're going to believe Lance Twiggs' testimony. Oh, wait, Lance Twiggs, the psychotic, schizophrenic, violent, aggressive, confused, troubled kid, will believe. But this married couple who are very credible, we won't believe them. Okay, I see what our standard for belief, our standard for evidence is, and why we're ending up on different sides of this. You're all stupid.
Even questions about how he turned himself in. His own parents and family were even saying, yes, that's him. That's our son. That's our.
Nope. Show me one piece of physical evidence where we either have a transcript, we have it in writing, we have an audio, or we could even just have a police officer saying that they called in and said that. No one testified to that. Nobody testified that the parents called in and said they saw the photos and videos and recognized their son and that they're turning him in. There's no evidence that that ever happened, and there's no evidence that Tyler confessed to the parents. We would have seen it. We would have heard it in this preliminary hearing. It did not get entered.
Brother, he's the person. He confessed to it. No, they're not going to accept anything. They're not going to accept a single thing, these people, because it's not about the truth. It's about the drama. It's not about the truth. It's about the sensationalism. These people are as bad as legacy press. It's incredibly.
That's so rich coming from someone that is the new legacy press. You know, and like everything you do is sensational. Here's the other thing. None of these people have genuine integrity. They all wait for the week. Well, no, they've been doing it all along, but I mean, they really all came out coordinated this week on an all-out attack on Candace Owens. There might be a potential that she's dropping something next week. Maybe she might be dropping Mitch Snow's pictures, maybe, from Fort Huachuca. Stay tuned, by the way. We're going to be having Mitch Snow and Matt Tucciarone on, and I think another guest as well. We're just trying to pencil in the date, but I think it's going to be this next week. All of these people, their ratings on their own, all of these people with their own shows, their ratings suck by themselves. Okay. They have to engage in some sort of conflict, and they always have to attach their name to Candace Owens because Candace Owens is the biggest thing out there right now. And they know that every time that they have her name, they have her photo, they say that they're going to be talking about her, people tune in to see what the hell they're going to say. Go look at their other videos where they don't do that. Nothing. They are sensational legacy press now.
Frustrating to hear some of this stuff. And I got to say, too, I know some people were out there telling, I guess, maybe it was some of the woke Rikers or other people who have been watching this.
You guys think she's going to say Podcastistan? Gosh, should someone remind her she's like 50? Woke Rikers, you're so hip. Look at you. You can say slang words. Ah, you're so cool. What's up with women refusing, like some of these older women that refuse to act and look their own age? It's like they want to defy reality and the natural process of life. Like we get older, that's just a reality. Like you trying to prolong the inevitable and act like you still look and act like you're in your 20s and 30s is just disgusting. Because it's on full display that you're 50, middle-aged, and a has-been wash-up. It's just right there. You know how I know that? Because I have the evidence. It's in my face. That was from The Office. Brian Carter, can you show the video from Project Constitution where it shows someone else running on a different roof at the same time that someone is on the loose? Are you talking about the white blur? If you can confirm which video you're talking about first, maybe. If it's not the white blur video, I'll show it. If it's the white blur video, no. And I can explain why. And if you ask me, I'll explain. But first, let me know what video are you talking about? Because I have actual facts about the white blur video, and I've never talked about it. So can you confirm what video you're talking about? And then if it's not that video, yeah, I'll pull it up. And the other thing you could do is, because it would take time for me to go to Project Constitution's page and look through his videos and try to find the one you're talking about, you could just email me the video right now at theblacklinebrief@gmail.com, and I can look at it. And if it's a different video than the white blur video, then yeah, I could show it. But first, confirm or deny which video you're talking about. Boop, boop, boop.
Preliminary hearing saying that, well, now I really hope people are quiet this week. And I hope that it's sort of like extorting people to mind their P's and Q's for this preliminary hearing. And I found that incredibly rich because some of the people that are asking for that have been the very people who've been trying to make money off of fanning the flames. And I'm just not going to do it. And I hate doing this, but
No,
we don't
don't.
really talk anymore. But cut 16. Go ahead, play it. That's what I'm talking about.
in courtrooms where I'm from, we operate within the bounds of evidentiary rules. And all we care about is what is admissible and what isn't. And all the stuff around like conspiracy theories and so on, it's not admissible. And to those who still have their doubts about Tyler Robinson,
Today,
I say
man.
it's time to put up or shut up.
I've seen some insane things on the internet, mostly championed by Candace Owens, that are, it is so loony tinfoil hat out there.
I think she's in her own search for what she believes happened here. And it doesn't necessarily make them a nutcase to not trust the official government narrative. You can either you have evidence that you can introduce under the federal rules of evidence, or you don't. And if you don't, I don't want to keep talking about your theory that there were at least 11, there's a difference in 11 versus 14, Israel-only cell phones on the campus of UVU that day. Charlie's criticisms of his Jewish donors and his threats to leave the pro-Israel cause right before he was murdered. Both of these are reasons why all along I've said we should be you should not be saying to her or anybody else, you're not allowed to ask that question. And I say it's time.
What's interesting is that whoa, what happened? Was there a disruption in the video? The live chat disappeared on my screen. It just was gone. Did something happen in the chat, or is the chat fine? Everything's all good. All right. What's interesting is that I somewhat agree. I don't even want to say it. I don't even ever want to say those words. Megyn Kelly is kind of I don't know what to do with her. So, but I will say this. Dana Loesch is misrepresenting Megyn's full argument. Megyn believes that Tyler Robinson is the one that shot the gun that killed Charlie. She believes that. She believes that people in Israel maybe are the ones that funded it and helped it happen, right? She believes that there's probably more people involved than just Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs. And she believes that there's at least enough circumstantial evidence to investigate if there was any foreign involvement, specifically Israel. But I will say that she has been riding the fence. She's been tiptoeing back and forth. But I mean, if Dana Loesch was to accurately present Megyn's argument, Megyn believes that Lance Twiggs is, the blah, blah, blah furry boyfriend, and that Tyler Robinson is the one that did it, but that they had help and support from many other people and possibly a foreign government. Okay. That's what Megyn believes. And like, we can even go to, where is it? Here. Wait, where do I want to start at? Oh yeah. We'll start like right here.
Witness we expect of this hearing. It's supposed to wrap up early this afternoon. Unfortunately, we will not be getting a decision today on the obvious conclusion that there is probable cause to hold Tyler Robinson over to trial in the case of Charlie Kirk's assassination. I mean, honestly, despite the mountain of evidence against it, this is a joke that Judge Tony Graff is even indulging this. I'm sorry, he's Judge Ito. I'm over this guy completely. He has no confidence. He seems feckless up there. He seems like he's terrified to make a decision. This is honestly absurd. Like, grow a pair, Judge. If you're going to be on the bench in criminal cases, you're going to have to learn how to say objection overruled, or I'll take it under advisement, but for now, this is my ruling. Like, everything's got to be briefed. Everything needs a pause. Everything he needs to consider behind the scenes. I'm sure he's got some law clerk back there who he's like, hey, what should I do? Or he calls a senior judge and he's like, what should I do about this? I can't believe this guy was a prosecutor and he has this little confidence to rule from the bench. Grow a pair, Judge Graff. It only gets more difficult from here. This is a preliminary hearing. This is an easy case. It only gets tougher as we go to trial. What we have spent the morning arguing over is whether a 2-second airing of Tyler Robinson's note to Lance Twiggs that was under the keyboard in Tyler's room on the night of the murder that he directed him to by that automatic text to Lance Twiggs' phone saying, look under my keyboard. We've seen the full text of that in previous court hearings, court filings, I should say. It was no mystery. Literally all that 2-second screen grab added was now we've seen Tyler Robinson's handwriting. And
this is where she's so dishonest. They didn't present any sort of handwriting analysis expert that proves that Tyler's the author of that letter. Everything that they presented in this prelim that came through Lance Twiggs, I think is, oh man, it should be challenged, objected. It should be thoroughly investigated to find out, why didn't they present authentication of the text messages, of the Discord chats, any sort of authentication of the letter? Tyler didn't burn the letter. Lance Twiggs, he burned it, but he didn't burn it all the way. It still remained. He didn't flush it. He didn't get rid of it. He just left it there. He burned it and then left it there. Lance Twiggs took a picture of it. Lance Twiggs' handwriting seems much more of a match for the author of that letter than Tyler's, in my opinion. Without Lance Twiggs, there really is no case against Tyler, and they know that. That's why he's their star witness. That's why they gave him immunity for it. The ballistics and the DNA evidence is not solid at all. And the video evidence of the surveillance videos is not solid at all either. So it's just a bunch of very, very circumspect evidence. Well, I don't think that's the right word. I don't know why I wanted to say that word. I didn't mean to say that word. Suspect. Yeah, I don't trust the evidence, and they didn't show that they verified, really any of it. So, yeah. Megyn's, she goes on in this entire video and just continues to double down that Tyler's the overwhelming evidence. Tyler's the one that did it. Lance is the witness, blah, 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 blah. But you don't hear her say the whole, we should still be looking into Israel and other possible people. She doesn't even say that they should be investigating Lance Twiggs. So, yeah, I don't know, Megyn. You trouble me sometimes. It's like you're a fence sitter. Sit on the fence. All right, let's go here because I thought it was very interesting that, first of all, look at PBD is wearing the Israeli colors, white and light blue. He is a Zionist, self-proclaimed. He's got that Adam guy, such a total. Vinny was the only voice of reason until he was forced to publicly humiliate himself because he came out in opposition to the Charlie Kirk video appointing Erica as CEO. And then he spoke with Andrew for 45 minutes, Andrew Kolvet. And then the next day he publicly apologized, flogged himself on camera, not like literally, metaphorically. And then sang Andrew's praises that he is just such a good guy, honest, integrity, really just such a good guy. And I'm sorry I said that. I was wrong. It's the real video. They proved it to me. PBD is not he's the one that had that guy on right after Candace started kind of going like on the track that she was questioning people next to Charlie. They're the ones that had that guy from TPUSA that lied and said that Candace hadn't been Charlie's friend, wasn't on tour for the last like many, many years. And then Candace showed receipts and proved that she was just on tour in 23 and 24 and that her and Charlie were still close all the way to the end. He had to come back and recant, correct the record. Tried to say that so much BS, right? PBD can't be trusted. And I'll listen to this. Where is it?
Going to the story with Charlie Kirk, the hearing right now that's taking place. One of the most chilling moments was when the judge flinches while watching Charlie Kirk's assassination footage. Have you seen this clip?
I didn't. I haven't.
Okay, so when you see the judge, he's seen I don't know if he's seen it for the first time or he just saw it. It looks like he just saw it for the first time. Do you have that clip? I want to give you 6 facts about what's going on, a story that obviously I'm glad this is finally happening, where the stories are going to be covered and everyone's going to find out what's going on. But watch this clip here, Vinny. This is the judge seeing the shooting. Just look at his face, Tom. Take a look at this. Watch this. Go for it. Look at his face. Did you see that?
Yeah. Oh, man.
Seeing it for the first time. Can you go back a little bit?
Oh my gosh, you don't need to keep replaying it. You guys are ridiculous. Let's go right there.
Like, don't look at it. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Remember when we were at the event,
The vault.
and you're telling me don't look at it because I got to get back on the stage. And I'm like, this was a disturbing thing to see. 6 big revelations to come out from the Charlie Kirk murder preliminary hearing so far. Let me read this to you. Here on what we have. Okay, so number 1, surveillance footage. Previously unseen surveillance footage appears to show Tyler Robinson visiting Utah Valley University 4 times on September 10th. And into the early hours of September 11th, prosecutors say he scouted the campus, left to change clothes, and returned before fatally shooting Charlie Kirk. Then came back again at around 12:30 a.m. The footage shows a man prosecutors identify as Robinson walking around campus, including on the roof of the Losey Center. Defense attorneys argue the video is too distant and unclear to prove he was carrying a rifle as he left the roof after the shooting. DNA evidence. Defense attorneys challenge.
It's weird. They just said that it's too far away and unclear to prove that he was carrying a rifle. Yeah, that's true. He can't.
The FBI's DNA analysis, questioning how the samples were processed and interpreted. FBI analyst Amanda Baker testifies as DNA recovered from the towel wrapped around the alleged murder weapon and from a screwdriver found on the roof matched Robinson and his roommate, Lance Twiggs. Robinson's accounted for about 95% of the DNA on the towel and 89% on the screwdriver, while Twiggs accounted for the remainder. Baker testified that the analytical methods used are standard forensics practice. Number 3, additional bullet found on the scene. Investigators found an unfired rifle cartridge on another building, but Agent David Hall testified it was traced to the police officer who was cycled his rifle during the response.
Nope, he just said that. There was no evidence to prove. They didn't look into it. They didn't investigate it. We don't know where the round is. We didn't test it for DNA or fingerprints. We didn't check to verify. Somebody just said that and they go, oh, okay, cool.
Because the investigators determined the round was unrelated to the shooting. That location was not prevented.
How can you determine that it's unrelated to the shooting unless you've already determined that the round that you're saying is the round that killed Charlie was a 30-06? Well, we now know the diameter is not a 30-06. It's not 0.308. It was 0.286 to 0.301. And, 223 is obviously below 0.286, but actually, I don't know what the diameter of a 223 is. I could look it up. But they've concluded before they did any investigation. They concluded that at the scene. They're like, oh, this isn't a 30-06. Okay.
Observed as part of the crime scene. Number 4, Tyler Robinson seen limping around the campus. Surveillance footage also shows a man. Prosecutors identify as Robinson limping while walking toward the Losey Center. We've seen this clip. Number 5, UVU.
Notice that they just keep saying a man that the prosecution identified as Tyler Robinson. How did they identify him? They just say that it's him. There's no real way they identified that it is him. They just say that it's him.
Officer body cam dies on the roof of Losey Center. UVU University officer Chris Bagley testified that his body camera stopped recording just as he reached the rooftop, where investigators believe the shot was fired.
So bottom line is this. He just goes on to regurgitate the official FedSlop narrative and act like that it was actually proven and that the evidence substantiates that and that the case against Tyler Robinson is overwhelming and that we should all just love it, But I don't know what to say with these people. Yeah, they're all just not honest people. All right, let's go to here. Before we do this, though, let me check this box real quick. If you guys haven't done so already, please do me a favor and hit the like and subscribe. It is the best way to help support this channel. I appreciate it. And then later, if you would, once it posts, if you would just write a comment underneath, and you can hype the video for free as well. Those are the best free ways to help support the channel. All right. Thank you. The gentleman never responded back. Oh, I missed one. I didn't see this one. Propaganda 101, repeat the lie ad nauseum. Yep. But I don't see, Brian Carter never responded with what the video from Project Constitution was. I can pull up my email to make sure no one's emailed me that video. Nope. Okay. All right, let's continue here.
Well, Benny, thanks so much for having me on, and thank you for your fight and for your words of support for Erica and the family, as you've been doing all along, your fight for the truth. Look, this is an outrage because, Benny, people like you and me and those of us who are close to Charlie, we've just wanted the truth ever since we've been to the right, ever since we got past that first video. We wanted to know, who was it that fired that shot? Why did he fire that shot? What happened? Why did we lose our friend? And how did we get to this point? And this is finally now that they are sitting on key evidence of not just someone who was, witnessed something far away, but the roommate of the accused shooter, the person who was in a relationship with him, the person who received the confession note, the letter, the text messages, who knew about the radicalization that was going on. And there's a 37.
So he was asked about the radicalization, Lance Twiggs. And Lance, I don't know if it's on this video, which video it was on that I had. Lance Twiggs goes, oh, no. We never talked about politics. Did you ever talk about the LGBTQ stuff? No, we didn't talk about that. Did he ever mention Charlie Kirk? No, he never mentioned Charlie Kirk. Okay. You guys did live together. Yeah. You guys were dating? Yeah. And he supposedly was radicalized and enough to then plan and execute this assassination. But he never even voiced to you that he was pissed about any of these things, or that Charlie Kirk bothered him, or people in general that were against LGBTQ. No, nothing. No. So what politics stuff did he talk to you about? Legislation, stuff that was being passed. Yeah. But I wasn't really politically active, says Lance Twiggs. I didn't really get into all that. Tyler, I think he listened to political radio station on the way to work with the work crew. That's what it sounded like. I think that's where he would get this stuff and then come home. Mm-hmm. Lance doesn't seem to actually have known Tyler. Like most of the questions, like, okay, what did he do? I think. What was his job? I think. What was he studying? I think. I don't know. Maybe, perhaps, possibly. That's Lance's testimony. Oh, except for all the things that have to do with that day he's concrete on. Yes, this is what he was doing in the apartment. He was pacing around. Yes, he was crying. Yes, he said he felt guilty. He wished he wouldn't have done it. He pretty much confessed, and we just have to take Lance's word for it. Sweet. Cool.
Minute video and audio interview of this individual, who, by the way, is the trans individual that, when we talk about the trans issue being involved, this is the transgender person who has now come forward, or at the time came forward, and then
bingo. And we wonder why they were pushing the narrative right away. Then how is it just coincidence that if Hunter Kozak isn't involved, right? If he didn't have foreknowledge, how is it just coincidence that he asked the final question that had to do with transgender violence And then what do you know? A transgendered person's boyfriend is the one at the same time putting together a 30-06, a Mauser 98, loading it up and taking the shot. Also, Lance is the least transgender person I've ever seen. He had longer hair, but everything about him was like, he's not in transition, doesn't seem to ever have been. Was pretty masculine for most parts. I mean, he seemed to be on the spectrum. Like, he had very little affect, very little facial expressions, didn't really respond in a typical way to the situation. Yeah, and said that when asked, when McBride asked him, that's the attorney on the prosecution, was like, so do you go by Luna? They had to cement this narrative that he was transgender because McBride realized that the guy wearing a suit and tie and is like big and bulky and had like a deep voice. The only thing that could even possibly be construed as feminine is his hair. But hey, rockers like long hair too. Punk rock, man. When asked, do you go by Luna? He goes, not really. Only with like a couple of my friends. Overall, no, I go by Lance, which is a pretty male, masculine name. I've never met a female named Lance. So for someone that was like in transition, you would think one of the first things they could do to come across more feminine would be to change that name so that everyone identified him as a name that wasn't just straight up a masculine name. I don't think he's transitioning at all. I don't think he's transgender at all. I don't even know if those photos of the person in the past with the ears and the furry costumes is even him. There's resemblance, but it's not clear to me that those photos of Lance from when he was younger is this same exact person that was sitting in that testimony, given that testimony that day. You know, I don't even know if this is the same person photographed in Texas filling up that Infinity car and walking into that apartment with books and a backpack on. That person looks a little different than the person we saw in this video. You know, I don't know, man. It's freaking nuts. Tom Birmingham says Twiggs's interview was AI. Look at the lips sync move. Well, there's a couple things. They could have intentionally messed up the, like, they could have intentionally chose a really low quality. It could be AI. I agree. I've seen the slowed down, clips of it. Yeah, it has issues. It has issues. It could have been like the latency. It could have been like how they uploaded it. It could have been compressed when they, recorded it and then they uploaded it into how we saw it that day. It's crazy that all of the videos used in this prelim as evidence in 2026. Okay, this is like $100 camera. It's not expensive. It may even be less than that. I can ask my father-in-law who got it for me. Okay, it's freaking 1080p. What are you talking about? Even the 720p is better than any of the video and photos we saw of any of the evidence that was presented during this prelim. We're in 2026. Come on, you guys. It's either intentionally been, either recorded or uploaded in a way that it made it really piss poor quality footage so that we could never ascertain and identify specifically who either of those people are, or the video of Lance could have been AI manipulated, could have been. You can't put it past it in this day and age, especially in a trial like this. Oh, it's nuts.
Came forward again in April for these interviews and will, by the way, be called to speak at the trial. And for those of us who want...
That's a lie. So first of all, he was called back in like September, October. Then he was called in March. Should mention that he got immunity. His parents bought 2 homes and then opened a LLC and then a nonprofit at the same time, when he was given the immunity. They didn't use any of the video from the very first interview. They only used video from the second interview after the immunity was given. And they do not intend to bring him into the trial. They don't. They do not intend him to come into trial and subject him to cross-examination. If they wanted to bring him into trial, they could have had him here at the prelim. But the prelim in the state of Utah allows hearsay. That's why they did the recording. That's why they presented this testimony during the prelim. I don't even think they're going to present anything else of Lance's later. I mean, they might, because they're going to have to play it for the jury. But I mean, all of the potential jurors already watched this prelim this week. So they just lie. Bet $1 July 20 to 23rd this year. Dome of the Rock. Boom. Yeah. Yeah. Do you know about the red heifers that were being bred in Texas and shipped over there so that they can consecrate and do the right sacrifice to cleanse the Temple Mount and that area so that they can then rebuild the third temple? Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no. Somebody went off course with the missile strike. It wasn't Israel. You know? Yeah. You think it's going to be July 20th, 23rd? Why those dates? Is there anything significant in history? Or is there anything else that makes you point to those dates as potential dates for that happening when many other people have said that well, and that is what they want to happen. They have to destroy that in order to rebuild the third temple. So, I mean, and they said that, you know, with the Chabad group, and they've been wanting to rebuild the third temple, and all the Christian Zionists want to rebuild it too, because they believe, you know, nuts.
Ruth, for those of us who want all of this on the record, the fact that they are blocking it, the fact that they are denying us access to this crucial information, it speaks not just to the integrity of this case, but it speaks to the very integrity of the judicial process itself. How can we function as a society if we don't understand why these crimes are being, these heinous and evil and despicable acts are being committed in our society?
Under what grounds would anybody be able to block this? This seems like the core pillar of...
They could block it if the judge realizes himself that the evidence is not what the prosecution is saying it is. Okay? So, yeah. Let's see. I don't know if I need to play any of that. What is this clip? Okay, no one gave me... I don't think I need to play those because I already pretty much covered all that already. All right, let me go here. Let me pull this up. I'm going to go share. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we are at that part of the broadcast where we are going to watch Charlie Kirk clips. And if you guys haven't done so already, please do me a favor and hit the like and subscribe. Okay, it's the best way to help support the channel, and I appreciate it every time you do. All right. Let me get this super chat real quick. A grand jury would convict a ham sandwich. Yeah, that's true too. Let me make sure I didn't miss any from further back in the day. Okay. Cool, I didn't. All right. Let's watch Charlie Kirk.
I'm sorry? How many jobs do you have? Everywhere. None. Well, there's more job openings than people to fill them. The youth unemployment is the lowest it's ever been.
So I want to point something out as we watch Charlie. Notice how he chooses to respond to hecklers, to criticism, to questions, to attacks, to slander. And then ask yourself, has Frank Turek, Rob McCoy, Jack Hibbs, James Cadiz, Erica Kirk, Andrew Kolvet, Blake Neff, all of those evil people. Are they actually in line with like Charlie Kirk and Charlie Kirk's legacy and how he conducted himself, how he carried himself, how he presented himself, how he held himself accountable? No, the answer is no, they're not.
In our country, black unemployment is the lowest it's ever been in our country. The black poverty rate is the lowest it's ever been in our country.
That's a fact. America is getting poorer and poorer.
Oh, I didn't know this whole video is going to be people yelling at him. Who sent this to me? Does he debate anyone? I don't want to watch him just get yelled at the whole time. That's sad. They're just all surrounding him and yelling at him. Okay, what's most replayed? That might not be a good part. Most replayed might be like when people are cussing at him. Or maybe this is him talking. Let's see.
All of our lives is better thanks to him. More job opportunities, wages are going up, youth unemployment.
Oh, I mean, all these people are cussing. Look at the hate in these people's faces. Holy smokes. Wow. This is what Charlie dealt with a lot. I like this video that I have of Charlie. Hold on. This is Charlie at his best. I mean, that was him at his best too, but I don't want to play a bunch of videos of people cussing and yelling at him.
And so, if we're honest with ourselves, we have to admit that whatever happens on college campuses will soon happen in the halls of Congress.
Yep.
That all these radicals that you see in Washington, D.C., a couple years ago, I spoke at this very convention, and I made a guess. I made a conjecture, and I said, soon there will be someone who goes to D.C., someone who gets elected to Congress, who's quite clueless, very loud, very radical, probably a minority, very leftist, constantly wrong, but never in doubt, and dedicates their entire career at trying to refashion the most horrific idea of the last 100 years, which is socialism, neo-Marxism, whatever you want to call it. And now we have an entire fleet of Congress people that believe these ideas. I mean, would it hurt Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to say one nice thing about America? Can you just say one nice thing about America? Ilhan Omar, only America would have shown the generosity that you were able to benefit from, Ilhan Omar. And then you have the wherewithal and gall to say, oh, America's a horrible place. America's an unequal society. America made her life possible. She was a refugee from war-torn Somalia.
Yep.
She was in a refugee camp, and our generosity and our benevolence brought in Ilhan Omar and her entire family.
Yep.
Educated her. She ran for Congress, and she won, and then she goes to Washington, D.C., and America's a very unjust place. America's the only country in the history of the world that would take Congresswoman Ilhan Omar with open arms.
Yep.
No other country would do that. And then she has the gumption and she has the brazenness to say that we're an unjust country. But where do these ideas come from? They come from college campuses. They come directly from the indoctrination centers that are happening on universities all across the country. And if we are serious about shaping and re-winning the culture war, which I really believe that's what this is. This is a culture war for the future and the soul of our country. It happens directly on the college campuses across this country, right on the college campuses. And I find more times than not, students are not opposed to our ideas. It's that they're not exposed to them at all in the first place.
Yeah.
It's that students have never heard the ideas that America is the greatest country ever to exist in the history of the world, that free market capitalism is the most moral, proven, and effective economic system ever discovered. That's right. I love my free market people, right? We love the free market. Or that America was founded on a Judeo-Christian construct and that religious freedom is fundamental to any functioning civil society. Or the fact that America was founded on three core ideas, the American Trinity of e pluribus unum, in God we trust, and liberty. These ideas are not being taught in universities. Instead, hatred for our country is being taught at universities by people.
Notice this too. He's not reading a script. He's not reading off a teleprompter. This is just all in here and in here. You can't teach that. You can't fake that. All of the people that remain at TPUSA are trying to do that. They're trying to get up and do Charlie by reading a prompter, by memorizing a script, by acting. And none of them are convincing. The only thing they've convinced me of is that they're evil people that didn't love Charlie and they're not good Christian people, because you wouldn't have to do all of this acting, grandstanding, reading off a script, having someone else write your script for you, read off a prompter. I don't have a script. Nope. Yeah, I miss Charlie, dude.
People who hate this country. Professors that are not thankful to be here. Instead, they're angry that they live in America. They're bitter that they live in America. If I had to sum up the entire left wing of this country, they're bitter. How could you possibly be bitter that you live in this country at this time with this prosperity and this opportunity, this safety, this president, for God's sakes? Oh my goodness. You could only be bitter if you have an internal struggle going on with yourself. Oh my goodness. And these bitter people.
Let me see what year this came out. 2019. Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. Yeah. Man, this was right around when he's dating Erica Kirk. They're not engaged yet. They're dating. What month is this? Let's see. July 17th, 2019. Man, I wish we could go back and warn him. This is when, Andrew Kolvet had just come on the scene in 2018. Blake Neff, Mikey McCoy, all of those people came in around 2018 and after. Erica Kirk had just been in his life for about a year. I wish we could have warned him.
Are trying to then make all of our lives simultaneously miserable because their lives are miserable. And I'm sorry, I'm actually quite thankful I live in America. I'm happy that I live in America. In fact, I thank God every single day that we're able to live in this experiment, in this country, with the freedoms that we're able to enjoy.
Amen.
With the choices we're able to make. And guess what? This American experiment that we're all enjoying can disappear like this.
Yeah.
One generation, this thing can be lost.
Yeah.
Right now, the younger generation, most of the next generation believes that socialism is a better alternative than capitalism. How does that happen? No logical, rational person could exist in a free market system and come to that conclusion. This is taught. These bad ideas are instructed. They are taught to the next generation. They're taught to our peers. And this is exactly the challenge that we're bringing every single day at Turning Point USA. And now you see the entire left wing of this country embracing these ideas, where you have every single person raising their hand on that debate stage. Sure, I want to give free healthcare, free medical, free carnivals. You know how I describe the left wing? It's a Marxist circus. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a Marxist circus. I mean, it's completely out of control. What have they not promised? Is there anything that they will not promise? But they're very quick to promise other people's money. Isn't that interesting? It's very easy to be generous with other people's money. It's extremely easy to be generous with other people's money. It's not me that has to pay more in taxes.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders, I either call him Bolshevik Bernie Sanders or Breadline Bernie Sanders. I can't figure out which one is better. He actually honeymooned in the Soviet Union. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine honeymooning in the Soviet Union? Can you imagine getting married? It's the best time of your life, and you turn to your wife. Oh, where do you want to go? Cancun, Fiji? Yeah, I hear Stalingrad is nice this time of year. Who does that? And then you actually go. I mean, that's the other thing. You might propose the idea as a joke, and then you actually book the tickets. And then what's even more horrifying is Senator Bernie Sanders, he goes, and then he actually saw what was happening. And this is so important. This tells you everything you need to know about socialists and the left wing in this country, is that he saw the suffering, he saw the poverty, he saw the famine, he saw the unbelievable inequality, he saw the lack of opportunity, in the Soviet Union.
And he said, hey, we should bring that to America. Bernie.
And he was perfectly okay with all that. But he saw something that he really wanted. You know what he saw? How much power the elites had.
Yeah.
And he has very little skill. Bernie Sanders has very little to no skill. He could not do anything except politics. He is a professional. He's professional demagogue. He's really, really good at it, in fact. He's amazing at misrepresenting issues. I mean, our generation, they go crazy. Oh, my goodness, Bernie Sanders is the greatest thing ever. And I look at it like, this guy, first of all, he's going to take all of your money away, all of your freedom. He'll destroy our country from within. What has this guy ever accomplished in his life? I mean, besides successfully honeymooning in the Soviet Union and being a 20-year, socialist member of Congress, they were supposed to hold this guy up as some sort of banner waver. Like, oh, his ideas are new. They've never been tried before. Excuse me. Socialism has been tried 100 times over the last 100 years, resulting in the death of 100 million people on every continent, in every civilization, every culture it's ever come in contact with, from Venezuela to Cuba to Korea to Afghanistan to all of Eastern Europe to basically all of Southeast Asia. It destroyed China, still destroying North Korea to this day. Where exactly are these ideas working, Senator Sanders? If they were working so well, why is the caravan going north to America and not south for Venezuela? If socialism works so well, why are the people fleeing Cuba for Florida, but they're not fleeing Florida for Cuba? If socialism works so well, why are the guns only pointed in one direction? If socialism works so well, why wasn't there a problem with people fleeing West Germany? If socialism worked so well, why did Europe become more like West Germany and not more like East Germany? If socialism works so well, why is it that people have to flee it in order to survive? And most importantly, Senator Sanders, if socialism works so well, why is it that every single human being that actually has lived under it does everything they possibly can to fight against it and to get out of it? If socialism works so well, Senator Sanders.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. If you guys haven't done so already, please hit the like and hit the subscribe. I really do appreciate it, okay? It's the best way to help support the channel. And you can also write a comment for me, please, after the video posts and hype the video for free. Tomorrow, we will have a day off. It's a family day, and it's Sunday. It's church and family. All right, so I'll see you guys back here on Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and stay tuned for the announcement of Mitch Snow and Matthew Tuzzarone and another guest. All right. Thank you guys so much for all your love and support and for being here. Oh, we just got one. I think Lance Twiggs was at UVU. I believe he was involved. Yeah, me too, actually. Yeah, I do too. I think Lance Twiggs fits more of the bill for all of this than Tyler, and then they pinned it on Tyler. Yeah, that's what I think. 100%. Yeah. All right. Hopefully no one is getting another one in. I don't want to hit buy and end it before it comes in. So, I mean, if that does happen, I'll make sure to have my mod send it to me, and I can answer it and respond to it either in the comment section or in the next video. All righty. All right, you guys. Thank you guys so much. Love you guys. God bless you guys. Have a good night. Bye. Oh, wait. I was going to try a different thing tonight. Or it might do it on its own. We'll see if I hit the outro. We'll see.